the first day of school for the son of the Demon King in the human world, and let me tell you, the cliché meter is already breaking the scale. We are about 5 seconds into the semester. He has barely stepped foot into the classroom, hasn't even warmed up his plastic chair or figured out where the cafeteria is, and trouble is already knocking on his door, because of course it is. These typical, brain-dead school bullies take one look at him and decide, yes, today is a magnificent day to shorten my life expectancy. They start picking on him, assuming he's an easy target because he looks like your standard K-pop background dancer. But little do these NPCs know, they aren't just poking the bear, they are actively courting death against the literal next Demon King. Talk about a severe lack of survival instincts. Being born into the demon race, our boy Lavis was taught exactly one core curriculum subject during his time in the demon realm. Humans are ants. They are insignificant little bugs, meant to be crushed beneath your boot the moment they dare to show their faces. And Lavis, he intends to stick to that syllabus with religious dedication. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't ask for a teacher. He grabs that nonchalant, pretty-faced bully by the neck, let's call him Pretty Boy, and absolutely violently slams him against the desk. Wham! The sound of wood meeting face echoes through the room. His bold and completely unhinged reaction shocks the entire class. The NPCs are glitching out. They have no idea how to process this deviation from the script. Suddenly, one of the goons, let's call him Ugly Face because, let's be honest, the artist didn't do him any favors, goes absolutely ballistic. He starts throwing out verbal jabs, screaming like a banshee, and quickly jumps at our boy in a desperate attempt to save his pretty-faced boyfriend. Yet, the moment Lavis looks back at the charging human, his demonic powers react in tandem with his body like pure muscle memory. As Ugly Face throws a desperate haymaker, hoping to connect, my guy merely tilts his head to the side, pure Matrix style. He lets the punch glide harmlessly past his ear, probably creating a nice little breeze. Countering the assailant's strike, the kin of the Demon King delivers a jaw-breaking, bone-shattering Mike Tyson-style punch that sends the guy flying backward. He smashes into the lockers behind him with enough force to dent the steel. Clang! That guy is going to need reconstructive surgery and a straw to eat his dinner for the next 6 months. But let's hit the pause button right there. Freeze frame. Record scratch. You're probably wondering how the guy who was supposed to rule over the fiery pits of the demon realm ended up here, in a high school classroom, throwing hands with teenagers. Meet Lavis Vindica, the merciless son of the esteemed Demon King Gamware. He is the one next in line to inherit his father's throne and rule over the entire demon realm. He's the crown prince of darkness, the big bad wolf. He was assigned a single, simple side quest by his father, but in true overachiever fashion, he outdid himself in the absolute worst way possible. His dad gave him a simple task. Hey son, go investigate if Hiltka and his clan are conspiring against my will. Just take a look. Lavis heard that and apparently translated it to, go murder everyone. Lavis took matters into his own hands and annihilated the entire clan under the pretext of treason. He didn't just arrest them. He hit the select all and delete buttons on their existence. The king knows his son is a troublemaker. He's a demon after all, but this time Lavis has lowered the bar from the floor to the fiery depths of hell. Gamware Vindica, the ruler of the demon realm, is officially done tolerating his son's shenanigans. He is fed up. The arrogant prince tries to negotiate with the king, insisting that the evidence of Hiltka's rising rebellion was everywhere. He argues that wiping out the mess before it scattered further was the best tactical option available. Basically, the I did it for the vine defense but for genocide. However, the king isn't buying it. He doesn't believe in such barbaric extrajudicial approaches. Even if those guys were guilty and deserving of punishment, it should have been handled with proper law and order under strict jurisdiction. You know, courts, judges, paperwork, all the boring stuff. The arrogant son erupts into laughter at such a boring way of handling things. He basically mocks his dad for being a boomer who loves bureaucracy, but this lack of a code of conduct disappoints the king to his very core. The king is already convinced that his son is a shallow-minded, ignorant fool with the emotional maturity of a teaspoon. Arguing with him is the same as trying to convince a brick wall to move aside. This is why the king has already decided on the punishment for his son. It's time for some tough love. After thoroughly discussing it with the 12 Dark Thrones, they decide that for violating the laws of the demon realm and massacring the Hiltka clan, Lavis Vindica will be exiled. And where do you send a demon to punish them? Florida? No, worse. The human realm. Not only will he be sent there, but his dark powers will be sealed away. Nerfed. Patched out. His Majesty is hoping for his son to return only after becoming a sincere, empathetic person worthy of ruling over the demon realm. Basically, he needs character development. Under the command of the Demon King, the 12 Thrones proceed to cast down their spells with the intention of sealing Lavis's dark powers and banishing him. Among those 12 Thrones is a guy named Rambe. Look at this snake. He intentionally plotted everything to set our boy up, and seeing Lavis in such a pathetic state is giving him a massive thrill. He is loving every second of this downfall. Anyhow, there are a few rules Lavis must follow if he doesn't want his soul to get incinerated into nothingness. Rule number 1. He must live his life like a normal human being. Boring. Rule number 2. Taking his own life is prohibited. No rage quitting the game. And lastly, and most importantly, harming or killing humans is strictly prohibited. It is a pacifist run, or else it's game over. With that, the once great demon prince wakes up possessing the weak, frail body of a human called Minhyo. Talk about a downgrade. He went from a max-level boss to a level 1 crook. The previous owner of this body was a weak, bedridden boy, a classic victim of bullying. Since he was supposed to be in a coma, his sister and mother are absolutely shocked to see him back on his feet, crying tears of joy. While the mother and daughter are an emotional bunch, practically flooding the room with tears. His new father is a different breed entirely. He is an unhinged, emotionally unavailable man. Now that his son is awake from a literal coma, the father doesn't ask, "How are you?" or "Do you need water?" No, he simply orders him to get ready for school tomorrow. "Oh, you just woke up from a near-death experience? Cool, get your backpack, you're going to math class." Father of the year, right there. The next day arrives, and that's how Lavis finds himself tangled with these bullies, the very same ones he is currently beating to a bloody pulp. The entire student body's jaws hit the floor. They are witnessing the once whiny little runt turn into a total Sigma male right before their eyes. As our bro farms aura points after punching the assailant to the ground, a nerd with glasses in the crowd starts doubting reality. He's wondering if this is even the same Minhyo they once knew. He's pushing up his glasses, doing the anime calculations, and realizing the math isn't mathing. But let's not forget about the pretty boy with the pretty hurt ego. He recovers from the first slam and comes at our boy holding a wooden chair in his hand. He is ready to smash Minhyo's head open like a watermelon. The glasses nerd screams out, warning Minhyo to watch his back. Our boy reacts with lightning speed to that warning. He spins around, channeling his inner Bruce Lee, and delivers an instant knockout kick to the gut that makes the pretty face double over in agony. The once confident bully has been rendered into a confused, wheezing mess on the floor. Unable to believe who flipped Minhyo's switch, the bully starts spewing insults and profanities left and right. He is raging hard, unknowingly making the situation 10 times worse for himself. You see, here is the mechanic that makes this series hilarious. Minhyo is typically unable to use his demonic powers because they were sealed away by the council. However, whenever someone hurls profanities at him, those curses act like a key. They awaken the demonic magic within. The more he is cursed at, the greater the power he can wield. It's a toxicity-based power system. If you flame him in the chat, he gets a stat boost. In reality, Minhyo's mother was apparently the living embodiment of profanities. She invented them and unleashed them upon humanity like a plague. So when people curse, they are basically feeding Lavis pure mana. With his leg brimming with power after absorbing all those juicy insults, Lavis delivers a devastating snap kick straight to the bastard's chin. Crack. That final kick finally turns the pretty face into an ugly face, knocking him out cold. Lights out. Windows shutdown noise. By the way, both pretty face and ugly face are known as Taiwoon, and the entire class is in total disbelief witnessing such an unprecedented sight. The hierarchy has been toppled in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, our boy reflects on his current situation. He has finally cracked the code. He has found the way to live an entertaining life while upholding his father's ridiculous conditions. With the grin of a pure devil, bro wholeheartedly invites anyone who loves to hate him to step up. He wants them to hate him. He needs them to spell out all the juicy profanities he desperately craves. He is literally begging for the toxicity. The entire class is wondering why Minhyo is talking crazy all of a sudden. The nerd in the glasses also begins, considering the fact that Minhyo is hiding his real strength all along, classic classroom of the elite style. While the entire class stands still, frozen in fear, it's the nerd who approaches the hero, inquiring if he is alright. Recalling that this nerd had helped him earlier with the warning, Lavis decides the nerd is the best contender to become his lackey. Every villain needs a minion, right? So he firmly reciprocates by admitting that he is fine. A while later, the nerd is bombarding him with all sorts of questions about his recent strength buff. He's fanboying hard. He even jokingly entertains the possibility that Minhyo is a reincarnation from another world. Hearing this, Lavis starts sweating. He gets worried, wondering if this kid has actually figured it out. Did I make it too obvious? The kid continues to ramble on, asking him what kind of life he lived in his previous world. Were you a martial artist? Was it a game world? Did you get hit by a truck? Fearing that this nerd might have actually cracked the code, Lavis decides to nip it in the bud before more people learn about his secret. He genuinely considers silencing the kid, permanently. However, before he does anything drastic, we are dragged into a flashback. One of his close demon friends once warned him against killing humans. Listen, Lavis, killing humans means soul annihilation for demons. It's a permadeath mechanic. The meek demon understands the implication, but he clearly remembers teacher Cynthia's lesson. She had advised him to crush humans on sight. Humans are bugs, she said. But his friend warns him that she only released that statement ironically. She was trolling. You see, demons are the gods who preside over death. Even though humans are foolish creatures, always trying to kill each other over oil or land, demons still don't hold the authority to harm them directly. The bureaucracy of the afterlife is strict. Back then, Lavis had thought there was no need to stress about it since he was never going to visit the human realm anyway. Joke's on him. But in the present, Lavis finds himself in a deadlock, having no clue how to shut this nerd's trap without strangling him to death and forfeiting his own soul. But it looks like he doesn't need to. The nerd laughs and admits that what he is talking about is totally absurd fantasy. He's just projecting. He feels desperate, claiming he wants to live in another world too, because his current life sucks. Lavis realizes that this nerd's words are actually genius, since he is reeking of desperation. As the nerd continues to ramble on about isekai tropes, Lavis is relieved that the kid is oblivious to his origin as a demon. He's just a harmless otaku. Out of the blue, the nerd throws out a sincere compliment, praising Minho for grinding those two goons to a pulp. "You are so cool." Getting praised by a mere human definitely crawls under our demon's skin. He hates it. Just like curses are a sweet lullaby to him, compliments coming from humans feel disgusting. It makes him physically recoil. "Ew, get your positivity away from me." Night descends, and we find our boy reflecting on his situation in his room. Even though a demon stuck within a human body shouldn't be possessing any kind of magical abilities, his magical powers are clearly reacting. The profanity engine is working. Since he doesn't have any scientific answer to his situation, he takes this opportunity to gloat about his title as Lavis Vindica, the undefeated kin of the Demon King. He's flexing in the mirror. However, suddenly, that very demon prince begins to twitch in pain and eventually collapses on his bed. Thud. His entire body is aching. It turns out, putting a high-spec demon soul into a low-spec human body causes some compatibility issues. It's like trying to run Cyberpunk 2077 on a toaster. The hardware can't handle the software. The poor guy spends almost half of his night in agonizing pain, before eventually passing out. The next day, in the evening, both the nerd and the demon prince are walking back home. The nerd is busy rattling out his gratitude to his friend. You see, there hasn't been a single day in the past when they weren't bullied. They were the designated punching bags, but everything has changed since yesterday. Lavis stops him. He doesn't think gratitude is necessary, especially since those guys were asking for death anyway. They were courting death, and I simply delivered the invite. This statement startles his nerd friend, who realizes Minho is a bit intense. Suddenly, Minho is called from behind. "Hey!" When our boy looks back in response to the voice, he finds a bunch of frustrated bullies. The guy leading the pack is actually the older brother of Sun Yun, one of the kids Minho beat to death's door 2 days ago. It's the boss fight stage 2. They are annoyed because they used to take a fraction of Minho's lunch money as a, quote, protection fee, yet he dares to bite back like a mad dog instead of returning the favor? The audacity. While the nerd is trembling in apprehension, shaking in his boots, my guy Lavis lights up like a messed up kid in a candy store. He sees the bullies and thinks, "Oh yes, fresh batteries for my power supply." He wants more insults hurled at him. Even the nerd thinks, "What kind of masochist, dim-witted friend did I end up making? This guy is broken." The leader of the goons grins, as he strictly asks his victim to follow him. "Come with us if you want to live." The maniac Lavis is more than happy to comply, so long as he gets verbally dog-walked along the way. They head to a secluded construction site. Classic. It's always a construction site, or a rooftop. Every goon is present, including Shung Yun himself, who is still sporting the bruises from the previous beatdown. His brother is unhappy seeing his sibling get his ass handed to him by this lowly runt. Now turning to the very runt, the big shot boldly stares into Minho's eyes, wondering how they should settle this. He is definitely not letting him walk away without consequences. After all, Minho has messed with his brother, and he must be taught a lesson in hierarchy. He questions this upstart kid, asking if his mother didn't teach him manners. Did your mommy not teach you how to behave? Perhaps his mother is just as messed up as him for teaching him to beat nice kids like his brother. Well, Minho doesn't hesitate before affirming his mother did, in fact, teach him exactly what this jackass is saying. Actually, yes, she taught me that you guys are ants. Of course, even though our demon was speaking with all honesty, his brazen response and the sly grin plastered across his face served to tick the bully off. The arrogant fool proceeds to explode with a crisp slap. Smack. My guy, on the other hand, is thoroughly thrilled to have his mother insulted. Most people would be mad, but Lavis? He's thinking, yes, keep going. Insult her more. It was just music to his ears. Those insults invoke the demonic powers he needs for the moment. The mana bar is filling up rapidly. With the power of 1,000 yo mama jokes coursing through his veins, this helps him grab the overpowering hand of this bastard mid-slap. With a tight grip on one hand, Lavis balls up his fist with the other and delivers a solid uppercut to his opponent's face. Sure you can. He then follows up with a relentless barrage of punches. Left, right, left, right. He continues to pummel the hell out of the bastard. This isn't a fight. It's a beatdown. This unexpected turn of events leaves the other goons in a frenzy, standing on the sidelines doing absolutely nothing other than cursing. What is happening? He's destroying the boss. Their pummeled boss, spitting out teeth and blood, orders these useless NPCs to step up and take on this guy. It's about to be a massacre. Minho drops into his fighting stance, locking in like he's about to speedrun a Dark Souls boss fight without taking damage. He is fully prepared to weaponize the power of toxicity, utilizing the energy of every slur hurled at him to dismantle this entire horde of laughing hyenas. He begins throwing hands and feet with surgical precision, kicking and punching everyone coming his way one by one. He is deleting every single NPC that dares to enter his hitbox, taking them down instantly with combos that shouldn't even be physically possible for a high schooler. The poor nerd standing on the sidelines is absolutely flabbergasted. He has zero clue what kind of high-budget, Michael Bay Hollywood action movie set he just stumbled onto. He's just watching physics get violated in real time. The agonized screams of Minho's victims echo through the desolate construction site for a solid minute, sounding like a choir of dying seagulls. But the noise abruptly cuts off when there is literally only one gigachad left standing in the PvP arena, which is our boy, obviously. Getting to bathe in this glorious violence while soaking up premium-grade curses makes Minho feel delightful. It's euphoric to the point that he actually starts feeling a rare sense of gratitude toward his messed-up family, specifically his uncle and his mother. You see, for those of you who skipped the lore drop, his uncle was the OG savage who introduced the concept of violence to humanity, while his lovely mother is the patent holder for every curse word in the dictionary. She literally invented the concept of toxicity. Given how absolutely refreshing the metallic taste of unadulterated violence feels right now, he has to mentally tip his hat to his uncle for inventing the art of throwing hands. It's a great stress reliever. And let's not forget about the nerd in the corner, whose brain is currently rebooting. He is definitely going to go home, stare at his ceiling, and rethink every single life decision that led him to this moment. He's realizing he's the side character in an anime. However, it looks like the four-eyed nerd isn't the only spectator watching our boy cook these fools. Up in the rafters, there is a literal rat, yes, a rodent, watching over Minho with a suspicious amount of purpose and intelligence. Plot twist. It turns out that Rat is actually the vessel for the very uncle our boy is currently mentally high-fiving. The uncle is sitting there, stroking his whiskers, absolutely thrilled to watch his nephew enjoy the little gift of brutality he bestowed upon this boring human world. Ranbei, that scheming snake who orchestrated this entire 4D chess plan to expel the demon prince into the human realm, is also there, chilling in the spiritual Discord call. Lavis's uncle actually feels a surge of admiration for the kid, giving him props for absolutely exterminating House Hiltka, which, let's be real, sounds like a knockoff sword brand, without hesitation. He respects the hustle. Ranbei, however, argues that the kid has always been a loose cannon who does whatever he wants, so trying to get through that guy's stubborn skull is a massive pain in the spectral rear end. He's been a headache since day one. But what really stuns the uncle is how Gamware, the boy's father, went full Asian dad mode and ruthlessly sent him down to the human realm as a punishment instead of just grounding him. That is some serious tough love. It is the golden rule of the demons to use forceful submission and dominance to handle the reckless edgelords among their group. You act out, you get smacked down. The human realm is also the designated dumping ground, where the most unique and dangerous sinners of the demon realm are sent. This implies that our boy isn't just on vacation, he is going to be facing some actual boss-level challenges very soon. Uncle Rat over here reminisces about the good old days when his nephew only used to cause small, manageable troubles, like setting fire to curtains instead of committing genocide. They grow up so fast. At the same time, Ranbei finally understands the 500 IQ play of why Lord Barkin blessed his nephew with the legendary demonic bloodstone. It wasn't just a shiny rock, it was a tool for this specific server. They are ready to pull up the database and visualize the roster of sinners that have been yeeted into the human realm. So Lord Barkin commands him to share the details and leak the server logs immediately. Casting creeping tendrils of dark magic, we get a 4K visualization of several powerful demonic opponents that our boy is inevitably going to have to run into and defeat to clear the level. It's a preview of the boss rush mode. Lord Barkin extracts the information by essentially Bluetooth pairing with the dark energy circulating in the air and downloading the data. And he is grabbing the popcorn, looking forward to the kind of violent performance his little nephew is going to bring to the table, especially when he's finally matched against actual darkness instead of high school bullies. Now let's snap back to reality and return to Minho's supposedly regular school life. His biggest fan is Budget Midoriya, let's call him Sion, who simply cannot believe that this guy took out Taewon's brother without even breaking a sweat or ruining his hair. He is glazing him hard. Hilariously, we cut to Minho eating some spicy-ass instant noodles that are burning a hole in his stomach. He tears up from the sheer pain, but he tries to play it cool, pretending as if this was just manly sweat rolling down his eyes. I'm not crying, it's just eye sweat. His friend even advised him to choose a beginner baby's first ramen flavor, but our stubborn demon protagonist refuses to be a beta. He is not a wimp, so he picked the spiciest hellfire flavor to prove a point, and now his internal organs are paying the rent. Suddenly, his buddy's phone starts ringing, but the kid freezes, looking incredibly hesitant to pick it up, like it's a call from the IRS or a debt collector. He abruptly tells Minho that it's a super urgent call, and that he has to dip early without him, acting totally sus. Watching him scurry away so suddenly like a frightened mouse draws a suspicious stare from our boy, who knows a red flag when he sees one. We transition to the next scene, finding ourselves in a dark room where a woman is wrapping up her latest artwork. Except her canvas is literally a human being who refused to pay his debts, so this psycho goth mommy carved some arcane symbols directly onto his forehead. Talk about a permanent tattoo you didn't ask for. At this precise moment, one of Jay's goons brings over poor Sion, who is trembling in fear so hard his knees are knocking together. She taunts him for arriving so late to the party, and quickly forces him to open his eyes and gaze upon her gruesome creation. Sion is absolutely disgusted and terrified, realizing he is way out of his depth. The symbols carved into the guy's flesh translate to thief. And simply because this dude refused to pay his debts on time, she decided to punish him properly by ruining his face. Credit score ruined, face ruined. Jay wonders aloud if this is the same fate that little Sion also wants for himself, seeing as they have a personal promise pending as well. Frightened out of his mind, the boy is barely holding it together as he stammers, reasoning that unexpected things have been interrupting his progress. She interrupts his excuses by violently slapping him across the face. Slap! Jay expresses her deep annoyance at his skill issue and inability to follow simple orders. To punish him properly, she says she would be delighted to carve some words onto his hand or even his back as a reminder. Sion begs for mercy, sobbing on the floor, so she graciously offers him a final chance to make things right. She tells him that if he fails, he will end up dead like the dude slumped behind them. Jay orders him to do exactly what she says, right down to the last letter, or else he is officially cooked. By nightfall, the same kid is trembling over his keyboard, questioning his existence and whether he should really go forward with this betrayal. The consequences of disobeying Jay will definitely cost him his life, so he feels like he has absolutely no choice in the matter. Meanwhile, as for our boy, Minho is out here aching and cramping like he's fighting a losing battle with biology. This is what we call the devastating after effects of being a total spice wimp. His stomach is churning up and breaking apart like it's trying to digest lava. Even though his body feels sore after that fight, Minho is fed up with this weak, noodle-armed vessel. He refuses to be weak, so he drops down and starts doing push-ups to build up his physique. The great Lavis Vindica refuses to die with such shitty physical stats and is determined to put in the grind to achieve a chick magnet physique. Putting that training montage aside, we return the perspective to Sion, who is back in school looking like a ghost. He is clutching a strange gadget in his sweating hand. Something about the app on the screen scares him, but the mental image of Jay flaying him alive is even scarier. The poor guy is forced into an impossibly shitty situation and doesn't know what to do when Minho suddenly strolls around to check on him. At this point, Sion wonders if he could just ask his new OP buddy for help, but he also knows that it would be incredibly dangerous. Jay and her men are extremely dangerous criminals, so it would pointlessly drag Minho into his messy drama. He's trying to be a good friend by suffering in silence. Suddenly, our boy senses a kind of familiar, pungent smell coming from nearby, and no, it's not Teen Spirit. Right then, an orange-haired girl topples over like a sack of potatoes and hits the floor hard. Sonia has suddenly gone unconscious, inviting Sion's immediate worry as he rushes to check on her condition. But when he flips her over, this girl is looking like a cross between a rabid dog and a Walking Dead zombie extra. Then again, this is basically what the average girlfriend looks like when you tell her no to ordering dessert. Jokes aside, Minho senses distinct demonic energy radiating from her, but the shocking part is wondering why a human other than him possesses it. The gym coach quickly rushes in to scoop up the girl and hurry her into the infirmary before a lawsuit happens. While they are passing by, our boy catches a sharp glimpse of the insignia marked on her arm. This symbol is actually the crest of House Hiltka, but it makes zero sense that it's stamped on a mere human's body. Minho is now deeply invested in this mystery and wants to check it out properly. So he finds his way to the infirmary, engaging stealth mode to sneak into her room. The nurse attendant tries to stop him because these are resting hours, but Minho uses one of his residual powers, something to do with oblivion magic, to basically reset her NPC pathing by taking over her mind for a second. Despite being nerfed to the ground, he can still cast minimal utility spells like that in his current state. Our boy heads into Sonia's private room, and she looks at him with a visibly annoyed expression like, "Who invited you?" Adopting a super serious tone, he cuts the small talk and directly asks about her true identity. At first, she plays dumb and pretends not to know what he's yapping about, but our boy violently yanks the crap out of her arm, exposing the demonic mark and aggressively questioning why she has it. Sonia still isn't budging, so this man straight up threatens to end her life with great suffering if she doesn't confess every single word she knows right now. He isn't playing good cop here. This side of him is so genuinely frightening that she is spooked out of her mind, finally feeling the terrifying aura of a god-tier demon radiating from his body. Sonia's tone shifts from annoyance to straight-up primal fear as she starts spilling the tea. She starts revealing her connection to Jay, and how she needed to receive the tattoo if she wanted to join the group. Our boy senses the specific scent coming off of this woman. And let me tell you, it is definitely not because of her double beef roast sandwich. It turns out the reason for his sudden interest is the familiar pungent scent of demons. It's that Ode to Hellfire cologne that he knows all too well. This scent triggers a flashback sequence, taking us back to the time when our boy was just a little demon kid, probably knee-high to a grasshopper. Rambe the schemer didn't want to explore this specific area because it gave him the creeps, but the stubborn rage baiter Lavis called him a coward for it. Peer pressure's a powerful thing, folks. Bro had to follow Lavis in the end, because he was afraid of what would happen to him if he went alone. Basically, he was the scaredy cat sidekick in a horror movie who dies first. Rambe really couldn't tell what the goal of this field trip was, so he decided to indulge in a lore dump story involving those who possess transcendent eyes. Apparently, the demons who possess these eyes end up losing their sight in one of two ways, either because their vision is too clear and they see things they shouldn't, or their eyes degenerate and become useless. Talk about a defective product. The warranty on those eyes must be terrible. In a shady location like this one, Rambe felt on edge, shaking in his boots, but Lavis was cautious as they were about to arrive at the destination. They watched from afar, spotting a deceased body with a flower blooming right out of its palm. Talk about aggressive gardening. Ignoring all danger signs and red flags, Lavis got even closer to the flowers, while Rambe identified the deceased person to be Jeremy Hiltka. But the strange question remains, why did this body have flowers growing all over it like a planter box? Recklessly, Lavis extracted one of the flowers, plucking it out, only for bloody vines to come shooting out from the roots as well. It released a disgusting, shitty smell, worse than a high school locker room. While Ranbei identified this unique plant to be the legendary gnawing flower, Minho is confident that Sonia, the girl from earlier, is giving off the exact same scent as the gnawing flower right now, while she begs him to spare her life. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Watching from the outside, Lavis's every action is being observed by Ranbei and his uncle via the magical Zoom call. They are spectating the match. In the next scene, our boy heads straight up to Jihei's tattoo shop. At first, he wonders if the flower and the tattoo are both just a convenient coincidence, or if the plot is actually thickening. Inside the shop, a bunch of dudes can't seem to understand why Minho has a soft spot in Jihei's view. They are jealous that the boss is paying attention to a high schooler. In reality, it's not that Sion is important, but rather the app he created. One of the goons is holding a candy, some kind of pill that was recently developed. The other guy warns him not to eat it, since he'll experience damning effects like Sonia did. But apparently, this guy thinks he's built different. He thinks he's the main character. Spoiler alert, he is not. Popping up in front of these guys like a jump scare, Minho identifies the tattoos and catches that same scent again. He politely asks if they all got that tattoo from Jihei. He's trying to be civil. The group leader, however, is arrogant. He walks up to our boy, acting tough, puffing his chest out, only to get his hand swatted away and his face slapped Will Smith style. Whack! Keep my demon's name out of your mouth. The dude is put to sleep instantly, factory reset to default settings, while the other punks start to question who our boy even is. I love how this man is just throwing hands, without any explanation at all. He isn't monologuing, he's just swinging. Truly for the love of the game. Minho punches the second guy into next Tuesday, creating a sonic boom, while his buddies stupidly charge at him, thinking it'll be any different. Insanity is doing the same thing twice, and expecting a different result, boys. Our boy weaves the punch like he's playing Punch-Out, and returns it with double the love, knocking out the third guy cold. The fourth assailant pulls out a weapon because he realizes hands aren't working, so Minho keeps him at bay by using a roundhouse kick for range management, knocking him over smoothly as well. It's a flawless victory. His only question is about the location of Jihei. He is laser focused. But it's right here when the first dude he knocked down, the Will Smith victim, actually gets back up. However, bro isn't a human anymore. He has transformed into an unrecognizable zombie with only one goal: killing. Minho is stunned. Why do I hear boss music? The same lingering demonic energy in this guy became much stronger. He dashes to catch our boy. Even the movement patterns of this guy have changed, becoming erratic and beast-like, which definitely means the drug enhanced him. Bad luck hits as Minho trips over debris and falls. He rolled a natural one on his dexterity check. Now he's really exposed and has nowhere to run. The demonic human charges a powerful punch aimed to kill, with Minho realizing that he's in hot waters. He is legitimately in danger of getting one-shotted. The scene cuts to Jihei's side of things, who remarks how the app is yet to be finished. They managed to secure the culprit who stole the blue ribbon from them. The same thief is currently on his knees, begging to be spared for having made a mistake. However, he's looking at some of the most ruthless people around. One of the enforcers grabs blue flowers from a pot, looming over this guy as he pleads for mercy. His end is grim because the enforcer charges those flowers with energy and thrusts them right inside this guy's eye socket. Squelch! But that was just one eye. The victim continues to beg, screaming in agony, but this guy doesn't stop. He ruthlessly plunges the other flower down his remaining eye, double homicide on the vision. And then he's just left wailing and screaming, now blind and infested with parasitic flowers. These guys don't believe in second chances, they believe in nightmare fuel. Even someone like Jihei is scared as balls just being around this enforcer guy. She wants him to wrap up things quickly without further excuses, forcing her into a shitty position. Outside, she ponders her situation, calling Sion endlessly for an update. The poor kid, Sion, is working on the app in fear and musters enough courage to check his phone. In a plot twist, it's actually our boy Minho who called him after beating up all the guys at the tattoo shop. Minho gets straight to the bottom of it and asks Sion about his connection with Jihei. Our boy knows that Four Eyes has been talking to Jihei, which stuns Sion. Minho asks him about her location. Sion doesn't get what's going on, but Minho assures him that he's on personal business, which usually means violence, so he wants to find her. She's usually at the tattoo shop, but apparently isn't there right now. Suddenly, our boy finds a lingering little creature nearby, a cat, but Sion begs him on the phone to stop there, and don't get further involved until he gets there. The call drops as the cat from earlier tries to act normal, grooming its paws like, nothing to see here, just a regular feline. But Minho has already caught on. He goes up to the kitty, grabbing the little thing by the scruff of its neck, and forcing it to look at him. He knows that this cat can understand his language, and one look of death from the demon prince is enough to get a confession out of the furball. He's already been watching the creature turn from a rat to a bat and now a cat. This thing has more forms than Frieza. Minho can't figure out what this thing is until he learns that she's a watcher from the demon realm sent to look over him. Her job is to watch prisoners without being noticed, which is the reason she's been hovering around Lavis too. The watcher's energy is negligible to the point our boy wonders if she's really a demon or just a magical plushie. He also criticizes her for standing out far too easily. You are terrible at stealth, he basically says. Even now, the stupid cat was standing on its hind legs like a human. Minho believes it's pointless to talk to this mascot any further. What he's really interested in is the voice that commands the creature, addressing him directly through the magical Bluetooth connection. It's actually Ranbei, who is stunned that Lavis made some quick progress in the investigation. Minyo taunts him for using another shitty trick and inquires about his goals. His old friend plays it simple and doesn't share a thing. He's gatekeeping the plot. Annoyed, Minyo asks a question that's bothering him, inquiring if it's common for prisoners to use magic in the human dimension. Ranbei emphasizes that there are certain exceptions and that he'll understand soon enough. The next subject of interest is the gnawing flower. Minyo explains its intense scent, the same one that they experienced back then in the flashback. The same flower that is supposed to be forbidden and extinct in their realm is somehow available in the human realm at wholesale prices. Ranbei figures that House Hiltska's demonic beasts are spreading all over the world to the point even admins of the demon realm have gotten aware. It's a server-wide issue. Everything leading back to the involvement of House Hiltka annoys the crap out of Minyo, who figures that some of its members exist in the human world. Ranbei laughs, highlighting that the human realm isn't the innocent place it used to be. It's a land of endless manipulation and capitalism. Ranbei wants him to take care of everything during his stay, but his words are vague, confusing Minyo as he fathoms what he's supposed to take care of in the first place. Be specific, you cryptic ghost. The Watcher's consciousness returns as Ranbei cuts off the call, much to our boy's annoyance. In the next scene, we have Jihei pissed off that Sion refused to pick up her calls, even after she rang him 1,000 times. She is looking desperate. Adopting a second approach, she calls Sion Jun instead, and orders him to return to the office and chase down Sion at once. Back to Minyo, he wants to extract some information about the human world from the Watcher. Her information is usually updated, and her tracking abilities are excellent. However, he directly orders her to return to her real form immediately, or else he'll force his hands. Frightened, the cute cat clasps her hands together and manifests into a cute, blue-haired demon girl. Waifu acquired. Despite that flashy entrance, Minyo is really disappointed with how weak she is. He looks at her power level and scoffs. He asks her name, knowing Ranbei assigned her for a reason. Turns out the Watcher doesn't even have a name. She's just an NPC. So our boy gives her Street as her new identity from now on. It's fitting because he picked her up like a stray from the streets. The name sounds mocking, but she's delighted to finally have someone name her like that. She's down bad. Minyo then demands that she spill every last piece of information she has about the human realm. While this interrogation is happening, Sion is racing as fast as he can to find Minyo, thinking that his buddy is in real danger. I have to save him, he thinks, incorrectly. The poor kid is reminded of the time he won the App Challenge Award, only to get confronted by Jihei and her men, the ones who laughed at him for winning a mere $500 for first place. She pied him in the face and kidnapped him that day, stealing his joy and replacing it with trauma. Jihei's boss told the kid to relax as they're here on business terms. After all, he was happy to lend the kid 50 million won in cash as long as he surrendered his app to them. Sion rejected the attractive offer, sharing that he never intended to make money from the app. He has artistic integrity. The boss wasn't looking for this answer, and that day began with Sion's forced slavery under Jihei's control. He wards off the scary thoughts to find his buddy when suddenly, Bro bumps into a tall dude and realizes he's cooked. These guys were looking for Four Eyes too. And Sion made it so much easier by just coming here directly. He literally delivered himself to the enemy. Even Jihei arrives with fury in her eyes. This time, she isn't going to let the kid off easy. Jihei kidnaps him again. This kid needs a leash, and tells him to code the app for life under their supervision. And if he ever even dares to escape, they'll know, because they've got eyes everywhere. Even inside Sion's new cage, they've placed an attendant. The kid knows it's all over at this point. Game over. While some of Jihei's friends are starting to wonder if this kid is even a developer in the first place because he looks so pathetic, the boss wants to use him to spread their product. The app is called I'm Here, and even the name seems shitty and ominous to these guys. Logging in, Sion works on his app, while his boss comes around looking like Chisaki from My Hero Academia. Seriously, look at the mask. He explains that the app is actually a central piece to the distribution the blue ribbon requires. The goal is to extract the buyer's information through the app, then use it to manipulate the market at will. Real-time location tracking in the game allows them to expand their transactions even further. It's basically Pokemon Go for drugs, so his plans to sell the product have finally come to life. The blue ribbon is the same candy drug that turns you into a rabid monster, and it's time to unleash it upon the world. The following day, students at the school discover the appeal of the app, which offers a free cash back of 30,000 won for each person that refers their friends. It's a pyramid scheme. 3 people means 100,000 won, so all the girls want to sign up without asking questions. They're so excited by the giveaway event of a few diet pills, one that is marketed as a safe product authorized by the food industry. Of course, these are all lies. Those pills are demon steroids. By evening, the number of signups goes up by an insane number. Jihei and her group celebrate in joy. Stonks are up. However, she's still confused why they haven't been able to catch the invader who infiltrated and ruined her shop. After checking the CCTV, all they could find was a bat. Apparently the footage shows a bat staring into the camera, blocking the view. All of the other cameras were blocked by rats. None of it makes any sense to Jihei at all. She thinks she's fighting Dr. Doolittle. A sudden message comes from their boss to head over to the location of the stock. While they're busy going there, our boy Minyo looks bored and questions why Street is busy hiding in the trash. Apparently, Street gained weight and got stuck. Fat cat problems. Our boy doesn't care about that and asks about the results of the investigation he tasked her to do. The cute demon is thrilled to share that she found out exciting details despite the difficulty. Remember the punk our boy knocked out? He had a handful of these drugs with the same smell of the gnawing flower coming from them. It's easy to understand that this drug greatly enhances the average human's abilities. But the strange thing is that the gnawing flower always requires a host for its cultivation. It needs a body. So the fact that this drug exists without a host is strange, because the same flower was rendered extinct even in the demon realm. Street shares that the name of the product is Blue Ribbon, and it's currently spreading among humans in different forms, such as diet pills and supplements. Minho is curious about the raw ingredients, but that part is hard to investigate since the contents of the product are manufactured in secrecy. Even Street can't track those details, which pisses off Minho because if the best she could do was find a name, then she's garbage at her job. You had one job, Street. The Watcher panics and shares that each product is being distributed properly right now. And thanks to the large trails of demonic energy condensed because of that, they could trace down the manufacturer. Our boy taps her head for not going there already, but the only reason she didn't go on a solo mission is because Rambi instructed her to go alongside Lavis. Unfortunately, the little demon has to report each and every last word to Rambe. She's a double agent. She has to carry out both of their orders. Putting her in a dilemma, our boy demands she make a decision between the two masters. Choose! Me or the spooky ghost on the phone. Either she'll choose him or her original master. But the good thing about choosing Lavis is that he promises to keep her free from being a lowly creature. The thought of being a badass assistant to a demon prince excites this cute idiot. She's sold, so she kneels down and offers her blood and loyalty to only Lavis from now on. Using the authority of Lavis Vindica, our boy accepts her as his official and exclusive subordinate. This basically forces Rambe's connection with her to sever and flee away. New phone, who dis? Now that there aren't any distractions, it's time to head over to the place where the blue ribbon is gathered. By night they arrive at the warehouse location, where the most amount of demonic energy is concentrated. Minho is interested in opening one box and checking the contents, but there are dozens of heavy chains blocking each one. Using straight hands, Mike Tyson Jr. slams the chains with a punch so hard that they're done in a single hit. Clang! Who needs lockpicks when you have brute force? With the container now open, a pungent smell escapes and disgusts both demons. Ugh, it smells like unwashed gym socks and evil. Sinister demonic energy is seeping out while Street and Minho can barely stand in place. These were the raw effects of the drug. We get another flashback sequence where Uncle Raken is training his little nephew in the art of combat. Bro was beating the crap out of the kid, refusing to allow him to remain a weakling. He is the definition of tough love. A definitive punch from the boy's uncle ended up destroying his very arms, sending the kid flying straight off the cliff. Yeet! Lavis fell to his doom, cursing at his stupid uncle, who laughed before descending alongside him. Lavis hit the ground with a heavy crash while his uncle wondered if the kid was already dead. You good, bro? Suddenly, both their eyes are drawn to the sight of a gnawing flower field, one filled with the corpses of its victims. The young Lavis watched a scene he would never forget. It was like seeing light and darkness divide the other. Beings that couldn't exist together lashed out, and between them, new entities began to sprout. In the era of the cavemen for humanity, the first flower blossomed in the human realm. They all watched its unique ability to drain demons and any beings that came in contact with it. The flower represented doom and destruction for any realm. Uncle Raken and his nephew watched as the field was incinerated altogether. Kill it with fire. The very reason that they burned it together is why our boy is so confused right now. The Watcher explains that the great demon king Gamware, the boy's father, eradicated every last one of the flowers from the realm. It was a total purge, so both of them are confused about how a large number of them were gathered like this in the human realm. Minho suddenly adds that the gnawing flower actually came from the human realm originally. This is the one realm where both light and shadow blend together, the only place that allows coexistence. It is gathered that humans were made nearly extinct thousands of years ago because of this floral pandemic. The very fact that the flower exists in both realms at the same time implies that some mastermind is behind all of this. Street is about to add something when suddenly a person flashes a blinding light on them. Busted. Jihei and her men have arrived to confront the intruders. She pities the kids for walking into a death trap. While Jihei's group thinks this is the same guy who came to trash her shop, Street explains that she is the person they're looking for. Jihei mouths her frustration for our boy to come around barging in and wrecking her place. She doesn't even know how he got there. Minho keeps it straight to the point and asks if she's responsible for managing everything. Are you the manager? I'd like to file a complaint. She doesn't like his attitude but confirms that she is, allowing Minho to inquire what kind of materials she's using for the product. Jihei scoffs at his audacity to shove his nose into their business secrets. That's trade secret, sweetie. And though our boy doesn't really care much about the product, he also thinks it's dangerous to leave them be. Jihei reaches for her pockets for the drug, reminding her men to get serious this time, as another failure will earn them Young Moo's wrath. The baddie hands them loads of blue ribbons to eat, and these clowns are ecstatic to receive the precious gift too. They are addicted. Jihei tells them to shut up and quickly start munching it down. So the four lunatics quickly unwrap and swallow the pill. It's morphin time. Knowing the fight's going to get ugly, our boy instructs Street to hide, as she'll only become a distraction during the battle. Go hide in a box, Street. As for Jihei's men, they've evolved to become monstrous and berserk, muscles bulging, veins popping, while she gestures to them to crush their target. All four propel with great speed, charging at Minyo, who savagely calls them a bunch of intoxicated and arrogant fools. Using his bloodstone eye, he assures them he can take them all down with his miasma. He activates his Sharingan. Minyo engages with the first target, punching him in the gut. Bam! And then he kicks the other guy just behind him. Bro is moving like Kakashi with his Sharingan active as he lasers down a third punch. This time it's a crazy uppercut that sends the guy towards the ceiling. Having taken down 3, he leaves his back exposed and gets tackled from behind. Minyo hits the deck, taking a tactical nap on the floor. Just kidding. He's exposed to harm and looking like a free meal. The zombie roid rager tries to drive his knee straight up Minyo's nasal cavity, attempting to rearrange his face into modern art. But our boy has reflexes faster than a cat on espresso. He quickly catches the knee mid-air before getting hit. It was a frame-perfect block. Watching him get overwhelmed worries his new assistant, Street, who is stressing out in the corner, while bringing a twisted sense of joy to Jihei's face. She's watching this like it's her favorite reality TV show. The 3 zombies demonically lunge forth, attacking Minyo from every single direction simultaneously. It's a 1v3 gank squad. Because they're attacking all at once, the action economy is ruining Minyo's day, making it difficult to fight back. These guys are way stronger than the previous trash mobs he fought. Why? Because they overdosed on the blue ribbon drug, basically overclocking their bodies to access even greater power at the cost of their sanity. Adjusting accordingly, our boy turns around for a different strategy, because face tanking isn't working. He quickly dashes to one of the crates where the product is stored, and shoves his hand inside to grab a sachet of the forbidden candy. Minyo then crushes that same box and throws the powder right up in their faces like pocket sand. Shusha! The overflowing scent of the drug overwhelms the affected men like catnip to a tiger, but here's the kicker. Its smell is despised by even our boy. Minyo is visibly gagging. He's being overwhelmed by his own miasma power reacting to the scent. It smells like a locker room that hasn't been cleaned since the 90s. While the enemies are still staggered, coughing on the dust, Minyo grabs one guy's face, palming it like a basketball, and slams it straight into the concrete. He goes full Sung Jin Woo from solo leveling, executing a brutal takedown. To finish him for good, bro lands a second hit, smashing the guy's face in until he hits the reset button on his consciousness. One of the other zombies tries to kick him, but our boy evades with finesse, dodging the hitbox before grabbing this guy's leg mid-kick. He flips him to the ground with judo precision. Pulling out all the stops, the berserk Minyo jams his foot down on this guy's ankle. Snap. That leg is shattered. He's never walking right again. Another dude pulls up in a desperate effort to tackle him again, only to get backhand slapped into oblivion. It looked exactly like Nero slapping Dante in Devil May Cry 5. Just pure disrespect. Minyo goes on to grab the big guy's toppling body, locks his arms around his waist, and literally gives this man a German suplex. Bam! Absolute cinema. The animation budget just spiked. Smash that like button if you felt chills like me, because Minyo is cooking a 5-course meal right now. Jihei watches in horror, her jaw hitting the floor. She is unable to believe how this high schooler monstrously took down all of her enhanced humans together. Just looking at him gives her the fear of literal death. A demonic aura exudes out of Minyo's body, making him look like anything but a human. Shivering for her life, Jihei begins to wonder if she is facing a specter entity or the Grim Reaper himself. Meanwhile, let's cut to a tragedy in progress. At the stage, Yuri stands before the audience, looking like a porcelain doll. Inside the dressing room, her mother Kang Hyunju cheers her on. She's the ultimate dance mom, convinced that someone on her daughter's level can without a doubt join the prestigious Venus Ballet Company. Suddenly, 2 men enter the room, Young Moo's goons, and Hyunju is instantly alerted. She goes full Karen mode, strictly inquiring who they are and demanding to speak to the manager. They place a jar of blue ribbons on the table, apologizing for barging in. Uber Eats for drugs, here to deliver. Since it was a bulk order, they came to deliver it themselves. Visibly flustered, she is assured by the man that they handle everything entirely on their own. Still, she wonders if the blue ribbons have any faults in them. She's asking for quality assurance on illegal narcotics. Young Moo, the boss looking like a K-pop villain, mocks her. He points out that she has already fed her daughter a large amount of the stuff and is only asking about safety now? A bit late for the safety briefing, lady? Hyunju instantly looks toward the monitor screen and sees her daughter begin to malfunction like a broken vacuum cleaner. The men see Yuri collapsing, making them wonder just how much the mother fed her. Did she give her the whole jar? Suddenly, on stage, Yuri's ankle snaps audibly. Crack. She falls on the stage like a mannequin with its strings cut. Everyone in the audience is left dumbfounded, wondering if this is modern art or a medical emergency. The mother screams, realizing she messed up big time. She thought there were no side effects to the magic performance drug. Spoilers, there are always side effects. The men nonchalantly say that the rule only works when the dosage is taken in the proper amount. They then break it down to her. There is no hope left for Yuri. Her career is toast. She will need this drug to satisfy even her smallest desires just to survive. For her entire life, she will be dependent on it. She's an addict now, thanks to mom. Hyunju is shaken, not because she loves her daughter, but because she invested a lot in her. That is some top-tier bad parenting right there. The phone rings, and Young Moo picks it up. It's Jihei on the other end, crying her eyes out. But before she can speak, the phone shifts toward our boy, Minyo. He's on the line. He coolly inquires if Young Moo is the one making the blue ribbon. Young Moo is shocked. "Who is this?" Minho orders him to come and see him immediately, then hangs up. Total power move. Young Moo gets up, taking his leave from the sobbing mother, as he has to leave as soon as he can to deal with this anomaly. On the other hand, back at the warehouse, the blue-haired girl asks our boy why people even do drugs. She's confused by human stupidity. The answer is plain. Because of people's stupidity and arrogance, they lean toward drugs, being certain that they would never get dependent on them. "I can quit whenever I want," they say. Since their lives have almost nothing to cling to, they choose drugs to make their miserable lives feel more purposeful. It's dark but true. Then the girl points toward the entrance. The thugs have arrived, with young Moo taking the lead. Instantly, he asks why Minho wanted to see him. "You rang?" Our guy brushes it off, saying that it wasn't him he wanted to see. He just wanted to inquire about the drugs, calling young Moo a mere human. The disrespect is palpable. Hearing those words, mere human, young Moo is triggered. He is drawn into a flashback of when he was living in the slums with his father. It's time for the villain origin story. Young Moo is trying to wake up his father for money to buy more drugs. But as he pushes him over, he realizes his father has passed away, OD'd on the couch. His father's entire life revolved around drugs, and his death did too. But his death doesn't make young Moo sad. He's not crying. Instead, he becomes frustrated as he faces drug withdrawals. He begins to kick his father's dead body, screaming because he can't figure out a way to get more drugs. This kid was a menace from day one. Suddenly, his dead father's eyes begin to glow, making young Moo wonder if his father is dead or alive. "Dad!" But a spirit rises from beneath his father instead. It's a demon. The spirit inquires if he is sad about his dad's passing. The demon spirit also tells him that his father will be returned to life if he is unable to bear the weight of sadness. A generous offer? Not really. Young Moo is more relieved that his father died, and he is only concerned about how to get more drugs for himself. "Keep him dead, just give me the stash." The demon sees young Moo's unhinged urge for the drugs and hands him a gnawing flower. He orders him to feed the flower with his father's dead body. Reduce, reuse, recycle, I guess? The demon also informs him that this is a way of trusting each other and that he will further get whatever he wants. The demon then tells him the condition: kill anyone who deceives you or denies the gnawing flower. It's a cult. After that, the demon spirit leaves the gnawing flower with young Moo, giving him its blessing. Right away, without a second thought, young Moo begins feeding his father's corpse to the flower like it's fertilizer. That is messed up. Coming back to the present day, young Moo is offended at being called a mere human. He thinks he's special. Our boy Minho keeps his calm and wonders if there is anything young Moo has faith in. Something that gave him another chance at life? When young Moo reveals that information, our guy already knows about the contract young Moo made with the demon. He's read the lore. Still, our boy walks forward, calling both the demon and young Moo trash. Just garbage. This makes young Moo furious. He instantly orders his men to attack Minho. "Get him!" The girl Street runs away immediately because she knows the splash damage is going to be insane. But Minho decides to deal with them quickly. On the other hand, we cut to a business montage. Blue Ribbon is hitting massive sales levels, which could mean that VIP customers from all over the country will be reaching out. The entire team praises young Moo as he has opened trade routes to China and Japan as well. He's the Elon Musk of illegal drugs. Meanwhile, Sion, the creator of the app, has been worried sick since its launch, as drugs are spreading rapidly through his creation. He feels responsible. Coming back to our hero, Jihei is crying in the corner as she watches our boy and his inhumane moves while he takes down the thugs all alone. He is soloing the entire guild. Minho then challenges young Moo to fight him directly. "Stop hiding behind your minions." Young Moo remembers what the spirit told him: kill anyone who denies the gnawing flower. He pulls out 3 blue ribbons and swallows them all at once while hailing his lord, Bauer Hilt. He is glazing his demon lord so hard right now. Right before the guy steps forward to hit Minho, Jihei yells out to him. She warns him that the hero doesn't seem to be an ordinary high schooler. Rather, he looks like one of those guys with whom young Moo made the new drug. She means a demon. The mention of the new drug getting linked to him catches our boy by surprise. The purple-haired goon takes advantage of this distraction by swinging a cheap shot at Minho. However, just a moment earlier, the hero senses it with his spider sense and yanks the boy's arm away. Yoink! Without wasting a second, the red-headed bastard throws a barrage of punches at his opponent. Minho is weaving, but he's shocked by the crazy speed. Similarly, young Moo is also surprised at Minho's strength. So young Moo asks our boy if he has also received the blessing from his god. He's jealous. He wants his Lord Bauer to be only his. He's a possessive fanboy. This is when Minho understands the reason behind the gnawing flower and the filthy smell coming from young Moo. He asks if the god he believes in is Bauer Hilt. Upon hearing his lord's name, young Moo gets angrier. Do not speak his name. Whereas our boy mocks him for believing in that pathetic demon out of all the options. Really? Bauer Hilt? That guy is mid-tier at best. As if he has got nothing else to believe in. This remark angers the guy even more, and he yells at Minho for insulting his god, the one who took pity on him. Testing his limits, the hero mocks young Moo and Bauer Hilt once more by saying how pitiful and wretched that demon would have been to come to a loser like this guy while he was on the run and hiding out. He scraped the bottom of the barrel with you. This is the point where young Moo reaches the peak of his anger. He goes Super Saiyan rage mode and showers our boy with numerous punches with his swift speed while yelling at him to dare talk about his lord like he's trash. While defending himself against Youngmu's powerful attacks, Minyo thinks about how Bauer Hilt has made a name for himself. He recalls his own history, a flashback within a fight, recalling his fight against that demon when he slaughtered all of Bauer's men. But Bauer managed to escape from there cowardly. The guy is a professional runner. The hero can't take how that lonely coward is getting treated like royalty here. It's stolen valor. Thus, he asks Youngmu about where his lord is hiding. Where is the rat? When our boy still doesn't stop insulting Bauer, Youngmu releases a strong stench from his body as he uses more power to kill the hero. It's a chemical weapon attack. He grabs Minyo by his hair and continues to punch him brutally, while claiming that both Blue Ribbon and Bauer Hilt are only his. This makes the protagonist realize that Youngmu has lost his mind to the demonic energy and will actually kill him now. He's gone full berserk. On the other hand, Street is scared to see Minyo get beaten like that, since he's in a frail human body. Had he been in the demon realm, he could easily use his abilities and wipe the floor with this clown. In the demon realm spectator mode, Ranbei watches Youngmu losing his control. He comments on how the test subject for the gnawing flower has completely fused. He can tell how Minyo isn't able to suppress him due to being in a human body without any demonic bloodstone. When he says how Lavis's soul might be destroyed forever, the other sly demon beside him asks Ranbei if he knows what Lavis hates the most. Is it losing? Is it holy water? Upon joking about how Lavis has a nasty enough temper to hate everything, his uncle reveals the truth. It's the filth that our boy hates the most. He has mysophobia, the extreme fear of dirty things. He is a clean freak. Just like that, back in the fight, the hero grabs Youngmu's punch mid-air. He can't take the dirty smell anymore. It's not about damage, it's about hygiene. He throws the boy away like a used tissue. Get away from me, you unwashed peasant. Minyo feels as if he's regained his old strength purely out of disgust. With that said, he uses his great energy and bolts towards the boy to end the fight and the stench quickly. As soon as our boy swings one punch at Youngmu, the villain can't believe how a mere human can possess this much power. When the demon within Minyo hears himself being called a human again, he punches the boy so hard that he flies back with a broken nose. Crunch. Shocked by the protagonist's strength, Youngmu stammers, asking him, "What are you?" But since Minyo is going crazy from the boy's smell, he strikes another punch at the boy. I am hygiene incarnate. Bam. Even Ranbei can't comprehend the sudden energy surge within Minyo. So the other demon explains how the hero must have gotten a headache from the smell, as he can't stand filth. Thus, his mysophobia led him to an awakening, allowing him to use a portion of his original power. It's a germ-fueled power-up. Ranbei is surprised to know this, since even with the bloodstone it's usually impossible for a sinner's body to fully use the power of the demon realm. At this statement, the other demon proudly states that Lavis isn't an ordinary guy. Rather, Lavis takes after him. It runs in the family. After launching a devastating punch, Minyo tells Youngmu to consider himself lucky that he cannot murder anyone with his body due to the restrictions. If I could kill you, you'd be dust. However, the boy can't accept that he, who received Bauer's blessing, can just get defeated. Therefore, he tries to pop in more blue ribbons. He's spamming consumables. In order to not let him die, the hero tells him to stop. He lands such a powerful punch at the boy that he ends up with a broken jaw, with his head buried in the concrete wall. He's stuck there like a Looney Tunes character. At last, Minyo covers his nose when the stench begins to fade. Finally, fresh air. Meanwhile, Sion stares at the data from his app on the computer screen. He realizes that this is not what he wanted to accomplish. He built this app for connection, not addiction. People confined in the close walls of a prestigious school every day, pretending to like someone or hate someone, pretending to be close to someone. He wanted to fix that. He wanted these people to find genuine relationships where they find each other without any falseness. But his beloved app is now used to distribute drugs to kids. He feels like Oppenheimer realizing he built the bomb. Sion lets out a breath and quickly works his way on the computer. He's entering his hacker era. The people outside notice the changes in their apps, seeing glitches and wondering if it's a server error or a virus. Sion hears the murmurs from outside and quickly locks the door from the inside. He starts pressing buttons to delete the app source code. The thugs outside understand what's happening and start banging on the glass window, screaming at his face to open the door, or else he is in big trouble. Open up, nerd! Sion ignores them and works his way on the computer, trying to permanently delete the app. During this process, his eyes land on the tiny warning button, the SOS feature he built. Suddenly, a loud crash erupts as the thugs break the glass and make their way inside the room. The main guy lands a punch on Sion's face, asking if he's in his right mind, because what he's doing doesn't make sense. Are you crazy? Another thug checks the loading tab, understanding what Sion is trying to do. Boss, the kid is trying to delete the app. If Youngmu finds out about it, they are all screwed. Finding some backbone for the first time in his life, Sion injures the main guy with a desperate shove and runs for the fire extinguisher. He rips the pin out and declares that it's his app to destroy. He sprays the room. The thugs start coughing due to the smoke. It's chaos. Sion checks the loading tab, noticing that the process is almost done. 98%. 99%. Suddenly, one of the bastards tackles the kid to the ground. He screams at his goons, telling someone to tie him up as he strangles him, trying to choke the life out of him. Sion's eyes start watering, realizing that this is the end. This is the best he was capable of doing. But then, a silhouette appears behind the smoke. A second later, a red glowing eye shines through the white mist like the Terminator. Minyo asks the thug what he's doing with his servant. "Get your hands off my property." He lands a punch on the thug's face that sends him into the shadow realm. After pummeling the first guy, he proceeds to devastate the other bastards too. He declares that they are fools to think they can lay a hand on his one and only attendant. "Even if he dies, he's mine. I will never let anyone touch what is his." It's incredibly possessive, but in a cool way. Sion sits up, coughing his lungs out. He remembers something buried deep down, the day he showed Minyo the app he was building. He had told him the purpose behind it, and also showed the icon he designed just for him. Minyo was taken by the bullies once again back then. He didn't know where he was or how he was. Sion had taken notes that time to finally do something about it, so he made an alert button that could show the location of the other person, so friends like him could stay together and protected. He had promised to never let anyone hurt Minyo again. The old Minyo had thanked him for showing consideration, promising that he would be the first to download the app. The current Minyo shows him the glowing warning button on his phone, asking if he sent that on purpose. "You rang the dinner bell?" Sion lets the tears fall, thanking him for getting and understanding his signal. Bro is emotional. They walk outside the building as Street handles Jihei. Within a second, Jihei lets go and runs away from them like her life depends on it. Minyo tells the demon follower that it's okay to let her go, because the gnawing flowers they possessed have vanished already. The threat is neutralized. On the side, Hyunju alerts the fire department for the fire, noticing the dark energy erupting from young Mu, who lays unconscious by the tree like a sack of potatoes. Back in the alley, Sion notices the demon girl who keeps following Minyo, who's the cosplay girl. Meanwhile, our boy is lost in his own thoughts. He realizes that the bastard Rambe and his uncle are using him as a pawn in their game. He's not happy about it. Back at home, Sion is concerned for Minyo's condition, urging him to at least go to the hospital. "Dude, you fought an army, but our boy is a tank and doesn't need to be patched up. 'Tis but a scratch." Four Eyes is really happy that his buddy came, even though he just tapped the SOS just on a whim. Basically, bro thinks he came because of the signal, but in reality this dude just happened to walk by. Minyo's assistant, Street, shuts him up, whispering that it's unwise to call it a coincidence. Shh, let him have his moment. Let's actually run that back to see what really happened. Minyo was taking Jihei to her hideout. Frustrated, she thought that he was only going this far because Mark Zuckerberg was his friend. The hilarious part is that Minyo didn't even know Sion was captured by Jihei's group. He was clueless. But with this, he now understood why Sion didn't come to school. Jihei was baffled, not knowing why this dude was going to such limits if he didn't even prioritize saving Sion. It was at that precise moment he saw the SOS signal ringing on his phone. So he did come for him technically. Back to the present, Street doesn't want her master to call it a coincidence, as it would be a terrible move for his relationship with his friend. After all, Minyo is going to be stuck here for a while, so he needs to make friends. The kid even views him as a role model. He is blessed that he came to save him. Sion speaks up and questions who this blue-haired girl is. Minyo reveals that she's just a subordinate. "She's my minion." This surprises his friend. Intrigued, Sion decides to ask Minyo a question based on the fact that he changed so suddenly and now even has a weird cosplaying friend. Deep down, Sion actually fears the worst, that his friend over here is under the influence of some terrible organization. Did you join a gang? Or a cult? He doesn't want Minyo to surround himself with dangerous people. Meanwhile, our boy understands that he can't make excuses for his attendant forever. She stands out too much. So he actually agrees with Sion's assessment and straight up drops the banger that he's the son of the great demon king. "Yeah, I'm basically Satan's kid." All of those big words flew right over this kid's head. He couldn't even understand, struggling to comprehend what he just heard. He thinks Minyo is having a Chunibu moment. Suddenly, he is startled by a cat resting on his lap. Tired of explaining, our boy leaves the talking to his attendant. "You explain it, Street." And that's how the cat began to talk. "Hello, human." This scares the ever-living crap out of the poor student. With so much stuff to handle, kidnapping, arson, and now talking cats, Sion faints in shock. System shut down. Meanwhile, Budget Chisaki's humiliation session ended, and now he's sitting in a police car regretting not being able to kill his target sooner. Suddenly, a figure walks up to the car where he was held and immediately dismantled one of the police officers, putting him to sleep with a chop to the neck. He pities Young Mu's condition. Young Mu explodes in front of his master, apologizing for failing because of his mistake. It's Lord Bowerhilt in the flesh. Lord Bauer doesn't even listen to his excuses and intends to take him someplace else for a proper conversation. That sounds ominous. While this was happening, surrounding police officers subsequently heard reports about the complete takedown of the distributors. The bigger concern was that the drugs they found were even approved by the Drug Administration authorities. The corruption runs deep. The fact that a business was trying to spread dangerous drugs in absurd quantities to children is alarming. But when the female officer turns to her side, she spots Detective Che on the ground, knocked out cold. She races over to him and checks inside the car, only to shockingly discover that the captive has escaped. The villain has fled the scene. The plot thickens, and the difficulty level just went up. Stay tuned for the next episode. Young Mu is down bad, folks. He is on his knees, begging for a second chance like a toxic ex-boyfriend who swears he's changed. He truly believes that he can absolutely kill his target, our boy Minyo, so long as he can devour just a little bit more of that magic demon drug. He's looking for one last hit to clutch the 1v1. But his master, Lord Bauer, isn't buying the subscription renewal. He mocks young Mu for being blind, figuratively and soon to be literally, to the lost value of the gnawing flowers he just let get burned to a crisp. Lord Bauer had done far too much grinding, putting in overtime to gather a group of humans just to use them as potting soil for his precious flowers. He finds the sheer incompetence of his servants disappointing. He's thinking, I should have just hired freelancers. Again, young Mu pleads for a chance, promising to finish his job and deal Minyo absolute karma. Put me in, coach. I can still win. But Bauer has had enough of the yap. He plunges a fresh gnawing flower directly into young Mu's eyeball. Squelch. Young Mu screams in agony as his ocular cavity becomes a vase. But that's just the appetizer, as his master emphasizes their oath sworn in blood. The only way young Mu can prove his loyalty now is through the flowers consuming him entirely. But let's be real, young Mu is far too busy screaming his lungs out to focus on Bauer's villain monologue. It's hard to listen when you have a botanical garden growing inside your skull. Let's hit the rewind button and see what Jihei, our resident goth mommy villainess, is up to. She's currently trying to secure the bag, frantically searching for the coin wallet so she can embezzle the funds and make a run for it. The loyalty left the building 5 minutes ago, except her luck stat is in the negatives today. She can't find the loot and ends up running straight into a lunatic junkie who had ingested way too much of the blue ribbon drug. Jihei is baffled, wondering, why does the universe hate me specifically? But honestly, it's only fair karma given that she allowed the torture of innocent humans and basically ran a sweatshop for misery. The fact that this zombie guy can barely speak makes her question just how much dosage he ingested. He's zooted out of his mind. Looking to her right, she finds a usable weapon, probably a rusted pipe or a piece of rebar, and thinks she can take him. But her arrogance is stomped in seconds. The junkie drives a blade right into her side. Shank. Jihei topples over in pain, clutching her side, unable to do anything, while the man driven to insanity only demands more of the blue ribbon. Give me the candy. He goes crazy in his manic episode, ignoring her completely. Jihei gathers herself, looking down at the wound and realizing she got hit pretty bad. The HP bar is flashing red. The same girl who enjoyed torturing others and acting like the queen of the underworld is now streaming down tears, terrified that she has to meet her end like this, bled out on a dirty floor by a nameless NPC. At that point, something starts happening to the man. Shadow demonic energy manifests from his body like a bad omen. It's Rambe. The ghostly schematic demon appears, floating there, wondering if Lavis is going to hate this situation even more. Jihei doesn't know who this spectral figure is, but she's desperate. She begs for help. Save me, ghost man. But Rambe cruelly tells her that she should just accept her fate and go to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to the inferno. Jihei is confused at the edge of her life, panic setting in, while Rambe assures her he won't cast away her body. That is actually more ominous than if he just let her die. He definitely has plans to recycle her corpse. As the scene shifts, we leave the gritty crime drama and head to the demon realm for some family dysfunction. Uncle Barkin, the muscle-brained demon lord, is summoned by the demon queen Aeneas. Lady Anais immediately starts complaining to him, chewing him out for plotting pranks on her precious kiddo who has been sent to the human world. She's giving off major Asian tiger mom energy. Lord Barkin puts on a huge, goofy smile and replies that her son is already grown up now, and she should seriously stop worrying so much. Sis, he's a big boy, let him cook. His brother then informs her that he was cautious enough to fit a blood demon stone inside Lavis's body before letting him descend. This revelation freaks the queen out even more. She starts scolding her brother nonstop. You put a legendary artifact inside my baby? Barkin argues back, telling her to trust her child for once instead of hovering over him like a helicopter parent. Upon this, Aeneas reveals the real reason she's stressing. She is actually worried about how unstable the political climate of the demon world is right now. If the rumor were to spread that her son, the sole heir to the demon throne, is wandering around powerless in the human world, it would be open season. The entire world would start collapsing into chaos, and every usurper would be buying a plane ticket to Earth. Uncle Barkin, however, does not seem concerned at all. He's got 0 brain cells dedicated to anxiety. Instead, the Lord brags that the kid takes after him, and that his combat ability is better than anyone else around. He's got my right hook, he'll be fine. The queen bursts into anger again and smacks her brother hard on the head. Bonk. She is clearly done with his nonsense. Getting annoyed by his sister, the Lord turns to his aide, Rambe, and asks him to read every book he can find to figure out a way of getting rid of older sisters for good. Is there a return policy on siblings? Rambe tries to calm the two down, acting as the mediator, but the royal siblings still end up fighting each other hard as the argument completely spirals out of control. It's a full-blown domestic dispute in the throne room. The scene shifts back to planet Earth, where Lavis is just chillin' after his fight. Sion, the nerd with the glasses, works up the courage to ask him to confirm if he really is what they call an actual demon. When Lord Lavis admits it casually, "Yeah, I'm basically Satan's kid, what about it?" the poor boy immediately starts worrying. He realizes that if his best friend is a demon, there is absolutely nothing stopping him from going straight to hell once he dies. His theology is spiraling. Lavis, however, drops some edgy philosophy. He tells the boy that this Earth is already a living hell. Have you seen the rent prices? Have you seen Twitter? This is the bad place. And he assures him that once he takes him along to the demon world, there will be no one there who could even dare to touch him. He proudly declares himself as the sole successor to the demon throne. He's flexing his royal status. Hearing this only makes Sion even more scared. He desperately tries to bargain, pleading so that he never has to go there at all. Please, I just want to code apps and eat ramen. As Lavis thinks about returning, he remembers Rambi and cannot wait to make lollipops out of that guy's eyeballs for sending him on this fetch quest. He is clearly enjoying the violent thought way too much. When Sion finally processes all the nonsense about demons, he questions what would have happened to the real Minho, the original owner of the body. Street, the blue-haired demon waifu, explains that the original Minho was going to die anyway. She explains that demons are only authorized to use such vessels as prison cells, meant to punish other demons. It's like a spiritual Airbnb for sinners. This news makes the poor boy anxious as he starts holding himself guilty for not being able to do anything as a friend back then. He thinks he failed the original Minho. Lavis notices this mood shift and asks why he suddenly looks so sad. He's emotionally constipated and doesn't get human empathy yet. He then once again brings up how Sion just needs to hold out for a few more decades in this world before they finally head to the demon world together. Just survive 60 years of capitalism and then we can party in hell. Sion realizes that at this point, no matter what he does, he is definitely getting dragged on a forced vacation to the demon realm. When Lavis asks Street to explain just how magnificent the demon world is to hype it up, she straight up lies/tells the truth in the worst way. She talks about how there is the scent of blood and human flesh everywhere. It smells like iron and barbecue. This instantly sends the poor brat screaming in pure terror. The demon prince then warns his new minion that he absolutely should not let any information about him leak anywhere. Snitches get stitches, and by stitches I mean eternal damnation. While heading back to his human home, Lavis feels his entire body aching badly. A migraine-like pain starts creeping in, splitting his head open, as he wonders if this has something to do with overusing the power of the bloodstone. The battery is draining fast. As he steps inside, Minha surprises him with a birthday party. Surprise! It's complete with a cake that she and their mother baked together just for him. She pulls him in for a selfie to capture the moment, but the demon prince could not care less about birthdays. He's thousands of years old. Candles are a fire hazard to him. Instead, he asks his sister about the bandage on her face. He ignores the party and focuses on the injury. She casually bluffs that it is nothing. She claims she just got a bruise while trying to save a granny from some kids who were bullying her. A hero story? Lavis finds it oddly intriguing and amusing that she tried to help others when she herself is so frail. You have 5 HP and you're trying to tank for others? Minha then scoops up a huge spoonful of cake and forcefully stuffs it into her brother's mouth. Eat the diabetes, brother. And the demon cannot resist the sweetness. His eyes light up. He instantly falls in love with the taste. Sugar is the one thing demons can't resist, apparently. Just then, the vibe is ruined. Their stepdaddy, Jung Tae-sik, comes barging into the house, shouting about how he got showered with raw eggs during his candidate speech for the mayoral elections. He got humiliated in 4K. He rants about wanting to massacre the voters, and in his rage, punches his male attendant hard in the face. When his wife tries to stop him, the ugly stepdaddy swings at her too, punching her and pushing her aside like a ragdoll. This guy is speedrunning the most hated character award. Minha steps forward to protect her mother, but the dad does not stop there. He turns his anger toward the innocent cake. He argues how humiliating it is for him to be pelted with eggs outside while his family is inside baking a cake with those same eggs. The logic is flawed, but the rage is real. He slams Minha away and then completely destroys the cake. Splat. He Hulk smashes the frosting. The kid's mother desperately tries to stop Tae-sik and reminds him that it is Minho's birthday, but the stepdad snaps that he does not approve of any birthdays today. Fun is cancelled. He shoots an angry stare at his son and then storms out of the place. Lavis, however, is burning with anger. Not because of the abuse, necessarily, but because his cake got demolished. You do not waste food in front of a glutton. His opinion of Minho's stepdaddy shifts drastically as he locks onto the man with a chilling death stare. You are on the list, old man. That evening, Tae-sik is screaming inside his office because some guy named Wee Young-moo still has not paid him his bribe money. The greedy politician is running short on cash, which he needs to take a photo op with Assemblyman Park so he can advertise himself properly. Just as his anger reaches its peak, his butler rushes in and informs Tae-sik that his daughter has gone viral online. Apparently, the video of her helping the old lady blew up. The butler shares a diabolical plan with the evil candidate, explaining how he could cash out his own stepdaughter by publicly revealing their relationship. We can monetize her kindness, sir. The ugly stepdaddy grins wide as he starts planning to use his daughter as a golden goose to feed his greedy desires. He's seeing dollar signs. As the news about Minha spreads like wildfire, it even reaches the CEO of Nox, Han Young-ju. This lady screams, "Final boss!" Young-ju calls in her daughter Yuni and her son Han So-ya, showing them Minha's face while openly praising her beauty. The former witch of greed, Mara, calmly tells her children that she has decided this girl's body will become her new vessel since her current one is starting to look far too old. She's shopping for a new skin suit. The witch of greed considers it her lucky day, convinced she has found a body she believes is absolutely perfect for her needs. It's a perfect fit. Size 0, trauma ready. Her children, however, do not seem very excited by the idea. Soya reluctantly comments that Minha looks like a pretty doll, but he seems bored by his mom's body-snatching hobbies. Meanwhile, Minha's father is successfully cashing in on his daughter's image as he claims the top spot in the approval ratings. The internet loves a hero's dad, apparently. He orders his butler to schedule another video of his stepdaughter to air later that night, making sure his popularity stays exactly where it is. Content farming at its finest. Tae-isik smirks to himself, never once imagining that his good-for-nothing family could end up benefiting him this much. He directs his butler to dig up anything they can use to monetize his daughter, pushing ideas like charity appearances and public volunteering to squeeze out every possible benefit. Milk her for content. Just then, Tae-isik is informed that they have been directly approached by the CEO of Nox. Hearing this only makes the greedy bastard's eyes light up even more. He's about to sign a deal with the devil, literally. The story then shifts to Sion, who argues that he had no idea Minyo's stepfather was even fighting for the mayor seat. Lavis asks him whether he actually knows Minyo's family that well. Did you even know the guy, or were you just stalking his location? Sion explains that even though Minyo rarely talked about his personal life, the one thing he was always sure about was how close Minyo was to his sister. He was a certified siscon, in the most wholesome way. When Sion comments on just how deeply Minyo cherished her, something clicks inside Lavis. The memory download finishes. Lavis is reminded of how his great-uncle once told him to cherish his loved ones the same way he should cherish Rambe and himself. Just then, Street, currently in the form of a fat kitty, tries to crawl out through a hole in the wall, but ends up getting stuck halfway like a cartoon character. Help, step demon, I'm stuck. It turns out the foodie has been so obsessed with eating human food that she has managed to swell her belly way too much. She's cultivating mass. Lavis asks her what Rambe said, and she casually replies that Rambe was not there at all and only left behind a note. He ghosted them. Lavis opens it and reads through the note, only to find himself being praised by Rambe in an annoyingly smug way. Good job, kiddo. Here's your next assignment. On top of that, the nerd assigns our demon prince the task of taking care of Lord Bauer Hilt. This instantly works Lavis up and sends him straight into anger mode. He starts shouting that he is going to murder the nerd before he even thinks about laying a hand on Bauer. I'm going to kill the quest giver. Sion snaps him out of it by bringing up how his greedy daddy is steadily on track to being elected mayor at this rate. Lavis cannot believe that a person like that could actually become mayor. Democracy is flawed, he thinks. Just thinking about the man makes him associate the guy with a Sinaru. He asks Street whether this stepdaddy is actually a Sinaru that descended into this human hell. Sion asks, what's a Sinaru? Is that a Pokemon? He learns that they are the infamous gluttonous demons from the demonic realm. They are hated by nearly all demons because they never stop eating no matter how much they consume. They are the Discord mods of hell. Street quickly objects and says that Tae-isik is just a mere human after all, just a greedy one. Our guy mocks Street in response and tells her to stop her eating spree, warning that if she keeps going like this, she might turn into a gluttonous demon herself in no time. Put down the tuna, Street. That night, as Lavis returns home, he finds the CEO of Nox, Han Young-ju, already there in his living room. She's there to recruit his sister into the Nox entertainment group, Zira. She explains that she wants Minha to work under her as a dancing center for the group. The mom objects, saying that her daughter has never wished to become a celebrity. She wants her to study, but she is immediately cut off by Tae-isik for daring to speak up in front of the CEO. Silence, woman. The money is talking. He apologizes on behalf of his wife, brushing it off by saying she is a bit too conservative. Young-ju, playing the perfect manipulator, gently comforts their mother and assures her that proper arrangements will be made so that Minha can balance her studies alongside her activities at Nox. She presents it all as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She can have it all: fame, fortune, and homework. She further strengthens her argument by explaining that times have changed and that celebrities these days can easily pursue their careers while still attending the university they desire. She is gaslighting them with professionalism. As their stepdaddy is just about to sell out his daughter by signing the documents like he's selling a used car, Minyo starts feeling anxious and uneasy. The vibe is off. At that moment, the CEO notices Minyo standing there and greets him as well, politely introducing herself. When Lavis does not greet her back, because he's a Sigma male who ignores women, the big bad daddy immediately scolds him for being rude and arrogant. Say hello to the nice lady. But he is quickly cut off by the CEO herself, who calmly says that this kind of behavior is normal for kids these days. It's fine, he's just going through his emo phase. Lavis recalls what Sion told him about how the body's original owner used to cherish his sister deeply. The story then shifts into the Demon Prince's past, back to a time when he is having a training session with his uncle. Lord Barkin tells the kid that the world is filled with evil forces that constantly seek to overthrow the ruler. As the successor, he must one day carry out the will of his father Gamware, explaining how immense the responsibility is to embrace and protect one's followers. The lad sighs and argues that his own strength should be more than enough for him. I'll just one-shot everyone, uncle. But his uncle only laughs and says that a day will come when his heart will be drawn to people without him even realizing it. You'll catch feelings, kid. Barkin tells the kiddo that he will change at that point. But as a demon child who has already lived over 100 years, Lavis could not care less about such cringe words. Back in the present, Lavis finally stands up for Minha. He asks her to tell him honestly if she is being forced into this mess against her will, assuring her that he will handle everything himself. Say the word and I'll burn this contract. Manhwa hesitates for a moment, her mind flashing back to all the times her stepdaddy has treated their family horribly. She remembers the day her mother was being beaten mercilessly while trying to take the kids and run from Tae-isik. Her mother begged him desperately, and even Manhwa tried to stand up. But no matter what they said, it didn't matter at all, because they had no money and no power. As she recalls that traumatic day, Manhwa finally says that she is in. But she lays out a strict condition. All the money she earns will go directly under her name. She's securing the bag. She plans to use that money to pull her family out of this mess. Unaware of the full consequences that might follow, her father sweats nervously but plays along given the circumstances. Fine, just sign the paper. As the contract is about to be signed, her mother asks once more to make sure her daughter truly wants to do this. Manhwa assures her mother that she will do great, and then turns to her brother, silently thanking him for standing up for her the way he did. It's a touching moment before the horror starts. As the scene shifts, the Nox CEO is driving back in her luxury car, and the witch couldn't be more excited about something she has in mind. Her son Soya comments that Minhyo looked a little off for some reason. That kid was weird, mom. The CEO witch then asks Uni what she thinks of him, and she agrees that she too senses something unusual or special about the boy. His vibes were rancid. Young Ju suggests that the boy could possibly be a demon realm tracker, which catches her son's attention. A bounty hunter? He asks if she wants him to eliminate Minhyo, eagerly wanting to kill something. But Young Ju stops him from acting impulsively, and firmly reminds him that Manhwa is their only priority for now. Eyes on the prize, idiot. Nothing else matters at the moment. When the boy insists again, she explains that a certain moonless night is approaching soon, during which she plans to perform the ritual and claim the vessel. It's body swapping time. And once that is done, he is free to do whatever he wants with Minha's discarded soul or whatever is left. Just then, Uni opens her mouth to say something while addressing the CEO as Mara. Uh-oh. The witch instantly snaps at her, furious, reminding her never to use that name again. Don't deadname me in this dimension. She boasts that soon, not even the Demon King and the 12 Black Seats could do anything to her. She's planning a server takeover. The next day, Manhwa arrives at Zira Agency and is introduced as the new center for the group. A girl with 2 ponytails, let's call her Karen Chan, protests, claiming she had been working so hard for this position. She got passed over for the nepotism hire. As the CEO leaves, the ponytail girl bullies Manhwa and complains about her stealing the position through connections. She scratches Minha's face, making her bleed slightly while openly challenging her to see how far her connections could take her. Let's see if your daddy can fix your face. Soya watches this through the hidden camera and is certain that once his mother knows about it, she will lose her temper. Oh, she messed up. He immediately tells his mother that Hyuna has clawed at her beautiful vessel's face. Hearing this drives the lady absolutely mad. Full of rage. She scratched the paint on my new car? Meanwhile, somewhere else, our demon prince has summoned his minions and informed them about how his sister is being bullied. Street argues that Nox is very famous and that his sister could easily dominate the human world if she plays things right. Let her cook, boss. Lavis explains that he doesn't plan on interfering considering his sister really wants this. But what sets him off is the CEO and her kids. He argues that he couldn't sense any miasma from them, no demon smell, yet the CEO still managed to keep her eyes locked on his gaze without flinching. That is suspicious. He suspects that she might be a demon disguised as a human, hiding her power level. Street comments that it becomes easier for demons to conceal their miasma after staying in the human realm for a long time, and adds that they should proceed with caution. She still lectures the demon prince for staring at people so blatantly. You were creeping her out, sir. Even Sion agrees, noting that humans don't like being stared at like they are dinner. Lavis shifts the topic back, insisting that he can recognize a demon when he sees one, even if he doesn't have his powers right now. My gaydar for demons is never wrong. Sion mocks him, reminding him that he couldn't even find Bauer Hilt. Skill issue, bro. Annoyed by the ridicule, the demon prince gets angry and orders Street to escort him to the demon realm's infernal training grounds. He is furious at being looked down upon simply because he cannot currently use the power of the Bloodstone. He's about to go grind some XP and come back overpowered. Cue the training montage. Lavis then asks Street if she has found a way for him to recover his strength. She nods vigorously, like a bobblehead, and confirms that she has. I got the cheat codes, boss. After that, he instructs her to investigate the CEO and her creepy twins. He also decides to take Sion along, officially dubbing him Attendant Number 1. Sion is less thrilled about this promotion than he should be. Meanwhile, cut to the drama. Hyan walks down the street, tears streaming from her eyes. She's having a main character moment in the rain. Just then, she hears something, footsteps. She turns to see Uni pursuing her, holding a sword. Not a prop sword, a real one. She panics, asking if she has done something wrong. She offers a tearful apology, explaining that she had just gotten angry for a moment back at the studio. It was just a prank, bro. Uni wastes no time. She doesn't even monologue. She brutally murders Hyan right there on the street for simply putting a single scratch on Minha's face. You touched the merchandise, she argues coldly. Her mother despises that kind of behavior. Talk about strict parenting. Time for some backstory. Flashback noise. Before she was possessed by a demon, Mother was a happily married woman who was very close to having kids. She was living the suburban dream. After Mara was banished from the demon realm, she crawled out of the sewers like a literal rat and saw this pregnant woman as the perfect vessel to take over. It's free real estate, she thought. That night, she slipped into the house and forced herself inside the woman's body. A spiritual home invasion. She promised to take good care of her soon-to-be-born children, since they could at least be useful as servants. Lying in bed, possessed Mara started laughing like a complete psycho. Ha ha ha. The lady's husband woke up because of the noise. Honey, are you okay? Unfortunately, asking that turned out to be a huge mistake. The possessed woman started choking him out and dragged him to the window. Bro probably thought she was copying a scene from 50 Shades of Grey for a second, but he quickly realized he was screwed when she held him over the edge of the balcony. Disgusted that she had to live with a filthy human she once called her husband, she mercilessly threw him off the balcony. Yeet. Down he goes. The greedy witch celebrated finally owning a pretty vessel of her own. But karma hits fast. She soon regretted it when her body suddenly went into labor, and she suffered the worst pain of her life. I didn't sign up for this. She threatened the surgeons to hurry up and finish if they wanted to live. She also cursed Lavis's mother, Queen Anais, the one who had sentenced her to the human realm in the first place. After the delivery, the surgeons were horrified to see the twins staring back at them with crimson eyes, demon babies. Back at home, the witch grew annoyed with her ugly, post-pregnancy body that refused to lose weight no matter what she did. Vanity is her sin after all. When her kids called out to her, she kicked them aside and ordered them to be useful after sucking up her mana for so long in the womb. She commanded them to protect her until she could secure a new vessel worthy of herself. That was how she raised the twins, with absolute obedience and zero love. Her friends were shocked that she started going through multiple guys in a single day after losing her husband. She went on a rampage. She completely neglected the children and instead spent her nights at clubs searching for anyone connected to the movie industry. She was scouting for a new skin suit. That way she could find a beautiful vessel to possess and eventually gain enough power to take revenge on the demon queen one day. It's a long con. The scene then transitions back to the present. She is giving an interview about one of her talents, who was recently murdered. The detective presses her with several heavy-hitting questions that she clearly cannot answer without sounding sus. Suddenly, she starts gagging. Her body is rejecting her soul. Her son, Soya, quickly steps in and tells the detective to ask questions another day, suggesting that she is simply grieving for the girl like her own daughter. She's too distraught. His sister suggests they should interview the other actors instead. The detective agrees and asks his partner to question the others, but she senses something is definitely off. This lady is sus. As soon as they walk out of the room, Mother spills her guts out, literally vomiting, and completely loses it. She starts ranting that the detectives are all up in her business, even though she is paying a crap ton of money for her superiors to cover everything up. I paid for the premium corruption package. Her son tries to comfort her. She is furious that her vessel could break down at any moment, and that dumb girl dared to hurt her new one. The boy calms her down and assures her he will prepare her new vessel for the transfer, so she does not need to worry. We'll get you the new model soon, Mom. Later, in front of the crew, Soya talks to the girls and says there is probably some creepy stalker out there stabbing young girls like Hayan because it is unsafe. He is fear-mongering. He suggests they all live in the company building starting from tomorrow. For your safety, of course. Manhwa asks if that is really necessary. He replies that it was going to happen sooner or later. Idle life, baby. Manhwa is sad to hear that because that means she will not be able to see her mother and Minyo. With a killer stare deadlier than Medusa, his sister Yuni calls Manhwa greedy under her breath and starts mumbling something. Soya immediately tries to chill the crazy witch down. He reminds her of the consequences if she damages Mother's new vessel. Don't scratch the paint. He plays her malice off, saying Uni was just so close to Hayan, so her death made her very sad. He tells the girls their parents will be informed, so they should pack all their stuff the next day. Manhwa feels worried about leaving her mom alone, especially since Minyo has been acting strange lately. Meanwhile, at the gym, our boy Minyo is pumping iron with his buddy Sian. He notices lifting weights improves his control over demonic energy. Gains for the Demon Lord. He can take down possessed humans with his current strength, but he needs to get stronger if he wants to fight real demons. Annoyed, he curses Rambi for not telling him how to use the Bloodstone properly. In the letter Rambi wrote to him, the guy mentioned that he modified the Bloodstone to return his power instead of sealing it. Wait, what? However, his true power will awaken only when the stone is broken. That means he basically has to get his face bashed in, specifically his eye, to reach full potential. It's a break glass in case of emergency mechanic, literally. Besides that, Rambi also gifted his best friend a demon child who would prove useful. He hoped Lavis would have a great time reading the letter, but our boy simply ripped the letter apart before he even gave it a read because he hates reading instructions. Typical. Back at the gym, he really hopes Rambi did not write the method to use the stone's power in that letter he just shredded. Oops. Just then, Street comes rushing to him because she caught wind of terrible news. She informs him that the lady and her twins he asked her to look into are bad news. Apparently she is the demoness named Mara. Mara, the Witch of Greed, is one of the infamous 12 demon thrones who was banished to the human realm by the queen. Grinning wide, our boy thinks that is terrific news because he finally knows where she was hiding all along. Found you. The scene shifts to a flashback of Queen Aeneas as she bestows blessings upon a pregnant lady demon. The gathered crowd sings praises while a goth demon lurking in the corner shoots her a hateful look. She's seething with jealousy. From the shadows she starts muttering nonsense about the queen, while one attendant desperately sucks up to her, calling her as beautiful as Queen Aeneas. Chomping on a fat juicy worm, the goth demon smiles and promises to bless the attendant by ensuring her future child dies in unbearable agony. The flattery dies instantly, and the attendant shuts up. Okay, never mind. Mara continues muttering to herself, vowing that she will take her revenge someday. Coming back to our boy, Street asks if Mara was jealous of his mother. Minho confirms that the wannabe goth hag has always acted like that, but no one ever paid her any attention. She was a pick-me girl. The Witch of Greed was caught stealing from the magic fountain the moment she rose to power and fled straight to the human realm to avoid punishment. Sion wonders why the demon chose Minha out of everyone here, and questions whether she knows our demon prince's real identity. Our boy figures she probably never noticed, but even so, he admits he is far too weak right now to stop her or even deal with her offspring. Street suddenly gets fired up, and suggests they focus on unlocking the Bloodstone's ability as fast as possible by hunting demons. Let's go grinding. Meanwhile, Minha is out shopping with her mother, who still looks uneasy about her daughter's decision. Minha reassures her that the murderer will be caught soon. Her mother still looks unconvinced, and reminds her that Minha once wanted to become a vet. While staring at bags of dog food, Minha realizes that the dream will likely never come true. Now she just wants to save her family from her monster of a stepfather as soon as possible. Putting on a bright smile, she tells her mother that dreams can change and promises she will become famous and rich in no time. Her mother mentions that they will not be able to talk as much since she will be living in a dorm, but Minha brushes it off. The woman suddenly grows quiet and apologizes for marrying such a trash man. Sorry, I picked a loser. Her daughter reassures her that she only did it to protect them. She reminds her mother how sweet the stepfather seemed before the marriage and how all of them were played like idiots. Minha tells her to hang in there and promises that she will work harder than ever. The scene shifts to our group standing inside an amusement park. Staring at a roller coaster, Minho wonders what makes people scream like that. Why do humans pay to be terrified? Moments later, he is hunched over a trash can, puking his guts out after the ride. He tries to play it off that it wasn't a big deal. I'm not sick, I'm just purging weakness. He swears to himself that he will never ride that death machine again. Standing before a haunted house, he wonders if this is really the place. Street confirms it, and launches into a Wikipedia-style explanation that this demon was imprisoned in the human realm long ago. When asked for the name, she reveals it is Scream, a demon that feeds on screams to grow stronger. It converts sound waves into magic, and infuses them directly into its body. It's basically Monsters, Inc., but evil. The shapeshifter girl explains that the best way to lure it out is to use someone who screams, "Really pretty." The demon prince slowly turns his gaze towards Sion, who immediately denies that he screams at all. I'm a stoic man. Tired of his yapping, Minho grabs him by the collar and drags him inside while Street wishes them luck. Have fun! Inside the haunted house, Minho is unimpressed by the cheap decorations, while Sion looks like he is about to pass out. He says he feels a strange presence nearby. Minho reminds him that they came to catch that weird something and tells him to stop making a scene. When a prop suddenly drops in front of them, both of them let out embarrassingly high-pitched noises. Kaya! Sion tries to call him out for it, but Minho instantly shuts him down and doubles down, asking if that was really the nerd's first scream. I didn't scream, that was the wind. From a distance, a demonic eye watches them. Sion wonders if this is truly the fastest way to get stronger. Minho explains that the Bloodstone leaks magic little by little whenever it senses evil demons, so taking them down will steadily increase his power. It's farming mobs for XP. At that moment, the demon finally reveals itself, drawn in by the sweet sound of screaming. Sion panics as the demon lunges toward him, desperate for more of that sweet, succulent noise. The nerd asks if this is the gremlin they are hunting, as Minho grabs the massive hand mid-swing and warns the demon not to touch his servant. Hands off the merchandise. Scream shifts its attention to Minho and wonders if he is human. Our boy simply stares him down and mocks him, curious what kind of scream the demon will make instead. Let's hear your vocal range. The demon questions what a mere high school boy like him could possibly do. Scream casually slaps Minho away and sends him crashing into the wall. Crash. That terrifies his buddy so badly that he starts screaming, which only ends up feeding the demon more power. Stop feeding the carry. Minho clicks his tongue in frustration because only his left hand has enough strength to silence the monster. Our boy charges in for another punch, but the demon's ultrasonic blast blows him away again. His buddy, little pipsqueak Sion, screams again and accidentally keeps fueling the demon's power. The prince shouts orders at the idiot to stop yelling and stop being such a burden if he can't be useful. Shut your mouth. The demon enjoys those eyes filled with terror so much that he says he wants to pluck them out and wear them as earrings. Fashion statement? Our boy feels insulted that Scream thinks he is afraid. He throws another punch, but he fails to reach the demon with his inferior human body. Scream gets tired of playing around and grabs him. The freak grins wildly as he listens for screams, then tries to gouge his eyes out with a blade forged from those very screams. Our demon prince calmly bets that he will not make a single sound. Try me. Right as the blade strikes his left eye, something strange happens. Scream freezes, confused, when shards of a red crystal spill out instead of blood. The bloodstone shattered. Suddenly, Levis's power bursts free. He smiles wide, almost excited because he can see everything much more clearly now. Ranbei had modified the Bloodstone to release his true power once it was destroyed. He feels pretty pissed at Ranbei for setting such a cheeky condition like that. I had to get blinded to unlock this? Scream is shocked that his blade failed to pierce a mere human eye. But our boy's next attack makes it painfully clear that he is not human at all. After pushing the demon back, he orders Scion to scream as loudly as he can. Now, scream for me. His friend does not understand why he wants to boost Scream's power, but he still trusts his best bud without hesitation. The pipsqueak yells at the top of his lungs. That shout powers up the demon immensely. The monster grins in delight, thinking his enemy just made a stupid mistake. You fool! Our boy calmly reminds the fool that he slows down right after absorbing a scream. It's the cooldown mechanic. With that opening, he leaps forward with his full power unleashed and smashes his fist straight into its eye. Splat. The demon writhes in agony as he absorbs its evil energy to slowly reclaim his original magic. The demon's entire body disintegrates and gets completely absorbed into his left eye. Demon absorbed. The demon prince immediately feels his power surging through his body like a wild current. He is certain now that he will reach his peak in no time if he continues absorbing more evil energy. Scion nervously asks him if he is feeling fine after taking a demon into himself like that. Thrilled and grinning, Minho tells his buddy he is more than ready to devour the next one without hesitation. Bring me the next course. Meanwhile, at the Nox agency, Manhwa is quietly escorted to her assigned room down the empty hallway. The psycho hoe coldly tells her to unpack her things and settle in. She adds that the girl is not allowed to leave the room unless she is specifically called for practice or work. It's basically prison. Manhwa quietly accepts the order and bites her lip in frustration. But doing all this for the sake of her mother and little brother gives her just enough strength to endure. Observing her through a security camera, Mother completely loses her mind. The decaying witch is growing more impatient to transfer into her new vessel already. Soya promises that he will stay obedient and loyal, even after she moves out of his mother's body. The scene shifts back to the amusement park, as Street senses that something has changed. She immediately congratulates Lavis on getting his powers back, and starts buttering him up shamelessly, swearing she will follow him for all eternity. My liege. Lavis tells her to cut the drama and just tell him where the next demon is so he can deal with the Witch of Greed as soon as possible. Less yapping, more tracking. The next demon turns out to be Shiel, a creature that feeds on unhealthy lungs. Our hero grabs it by the head like a football and orders it to follow him. The demon barely lasts a minute before being absorbed, though Lavis instantly regrets it due to the disgusting stench left behind. Tastes like tar. Not wasting time, he hunts down another demon named Asura, who feeds on drunk humans. This one smells just as awful, like cheap soju and bad decisions, but he has no choice and absorbs it anyway. Meanwhile, Scion wonders out loud why demons even feed on humans. Minho explains that once demons cross into the human world, they lose most of their powers and must feed in order to survive. They are basically energetic parasites. That revelation makes the nerd tremble like he is on drugs, as he realizes that all those ghost stories might not have been fiction after all. On the other hand, the demon prince decides he now has enough power and chooses to test it. A sudden flash of light startles Scion as Lavis materializes his own screen sword out of thin air. Though it is still incomplete, it looks badass. The nerd then asks if it is really okay to send Street out by herself, but Lavis reassures him that she is so weak that most demons will barely even notice her. She's basically invisible to them. The scene shifts to Street in her bat form. Out of nowhere, she suddenly complains that she is starving, only to notice something unusual. She swoops down and snatches a maggot crawling along the ground, but quickly senses that something is off. This tastes spicy. Street realizes that the bug is infused with Mara's magic. She immediately rushes off to report back to Lavis. Meanwhile, a car quietly exits an underground parking garage and disappears into the night. Soya grips the unconscious Manhwa and proudly tells his mother that he knocked her out. Package secured. Now looking like a homeless drug addict because her body is failing, the mother urges her children to hurry. Soya looks more excited than ever, while the girl shows no sign of waking up. Back to the demon prince, Street yells incoherently at him while still holding the bug in her mouth. Switching back to her human form, she presents the parasite and tells him to take a look. Look what the cat dragged in. She explains that the bug belongs to Mara and that the witch is currently hiding in a human body. Minho realizes that if parasites are escaping her body, it means she is desperate to find a new host. Her current suit is expiring. It makes sense considering the Witch of Greed's obsession with youth and beauty. The thought irritates him and he mutters that Mara should act her age, especially since she is older than his mother. Intrigued, Sion asks how old his mother actually is, and Minho replies that she is over 6,000 years old. Completely flabbergasted, Sion asks how old Minho himself is, which sends him into deep thought. He recalls a memory of his uncle taking him to the human realm when he was still a child. Back then, humans were constructing a massive structure, which his uncle assumed was being built for him. Lord Barkin mocked our prince, claiming that a weak demon like him could never achieve such status. Ranbei then politely corrected Lord Barkin, explaining that the structure was actually meant for the celestial being, Ra. This enraged Lord Barkin, who demanded to know why humans were building a temple for someone he had already beaten. Declaring himself the victor, he claimed that the building belonged to him instead. Returning to the present, Sion grows even more shocked and states that the pyramids were built roughly 4,000 years ago. That means Minho is ancient. Street snaps them back to reality and asks what they should do next to save Manhwa. Lavis sinks into thought, considering the terrifying possibility that Mara may attempt to take over his sister's body tonight. The scene shifts to the demon family arriving at an abandoned building that now resembles a withered old hag, just like Mara. Mara mutters that the sky was empty when she was born. She limps toward the structure and states that this is the correct location, a fissure between the three realms. After climbing the stairs, they enter an open area, and the three freeze at the sight. Standing among neatly arranged flower-infested corpses, Lord Bowerhilt stares at the intruders and demands to know who they are. "Get off my lawn!" Mara calmly reveals her identity and declares that she has already claimed this fissure, leaving him utterly stunned. The guy immediately recognizes her as a former member of the 12 Demon Thrones. She's an ex-admin. However, her magic is primitive at best in her current weakened form. He yells at the twins to stay away from his flowers and get out of his territory immediately. It's a villain versus villain showdown. The Witch of Greed, Mara, admits she is too weak to even walk properly right now. Her current body is running on fumes and evil vibes, but she lets Minho know that her children are more than powerful enough to compensate for her lack of cardio. "My kids will beat you up for me." He is mildly surprised to see that she turned the humans into demon hybrids. He thinks she is pathetic for depending entirely on her kids. Imagine needing your children to fight your battles. Embarrassing. Mara laughs and says they are merely doing their duty. She orders the druggie to wrap up his ugly garden and leave at once. That insult to his precious garden ticks him off badly. You do not insult a man's landscaping. So he tries to attack her without warning, but Soya kicks the failure away to put him firmly in his place. Boot. The demon flashes a vile, satisfied grin. She explains she force-fed her kids water from the Demon Soul Spring, which is found in the deepest depths of the demon realm. It is the place where all magic originally comes from, basically the mana source code. The Demon King took it over so no one else could steal its power, but Mara apparently swiped a few bottles before she got banned. Mara fed all of it to the twins as an investment so they could protect her until she finds out where Cersei is hiding. Who is Cersei? Another plot point for another day. The scene transitions quietly to the forest outside. Our demon prince and his best bud Sion follow Street as she tracks down the witch's exact location. They reach an abandoned building still under construction. Sion thinks they are in the wrong place because it looks like a dump, but Street claims there is absolutely no doubt she is in there. Trust the nose, kid. When Sion asks him to save his sister no matter what happens, Minho tells the guy they are storming in together. His friend insists he is just dead weight in a fight against demons. "I have 0 combat stats, bro." But our boy coldly says even he can still be useful as a meat shield. "You have HP, don't you? Use it." Street wishes him luck for the fight too, but he orders her to accompany him so they can match the enemy in numbers. At this moment she realizes she swore loyalty to the wrong master. I should have read the contract better. Inside the building, Mara prepares the magic circle and lays her new vessel carefully on it. She makes it clear to Bauer that he needs her to survive in the human realm. "You need me more than I need you." Her creepy son, Soya, asks her to give the clown to him as a toy for running errands. The clown gladly agrees after he was beaten up badly and finally learned his place. He has 0 dignity left. Just then, all of them turn their heads in shock at the sudden presence. Our boy casually walks into the room full of mangled bodies with his 2 sidekicks right behind him. "Sup, losers." He is surprised to see this is where Young Mu disappeared to after he dismantled his gang earlier. He reminds Sion that he would also suffer the same fate if he were not saved by him back then. "See? Could be worse. You could be a garden gnome." Listening to them talk about his subordinates like that, Bauer is furious when he sees the punk who destroyed his entire operation overnight. Soya confirms his assumption that Minha's brother is not human at all. And he asks Mother who exactly he is. Street proudly introduces her master as the Prince of Hell, who exterminated Bauer's entire family without mercy. "He's the guy who deleted your bloodline." Mara blows a fuse when she hears he is the son of her sworn enemy, Queen Aeneas. Bauer also loses his mind after learning that he is the executioner who slaughtered his family right in front of his eyes. He realizes this is the perfect chance for revenge at last. The prince is merely a human in his current weakened state after all. He's nerfed. Get him! Meanwhile, the jealous and delusional witch thinks the queen is so petty that she sent her own son to the human realm just to humiliate her even further. "She sent him just to mock me." Narcissism at its finest. Our boy calmly analyzes the situation, quickly realizing he cannot take all 3 at once without risk. To lower the numbers, he decides to use psychology. He orders Bauer, the bastard, to get out immediately. "Leave now, peasant." The guy starts talking trash back because Lavis is no longer the prince he once feared, but he instantly shuts his trap when the prince yells, telling him to leave if he does not want to die here. He orders the fool to tell the other demons about his arrival personally. "Go tell your friends the king is back. They better behave during his stay, unless they want to be devoured alive." Bauer is dumbfounded at how he is still able to use magic in his human form. The guy makes a run for it, and literally jumps out the building out of pure fear for his life. Bauer has left the chat. With that settled, our prince tells the withering hag that she is not allowed to just steal someone's body to feel young again whenever she wants. Get your own body, grandma. She goes completely diabolical when he calls her an old hag to her face. That furious shouting puts a heavy burden on her fragile body and makes her cough up blood violently. Don't yell if you have no HP, lady. After calming down, she suddenly cheers up, wondering how the queen will react when her children kill the queen's only son. The demon prince is also dying to see her reaction when her precious kids are murdered by the son of the woman she envied her entire life. Let's see whose kids die first. Fuming from his mocking tone, Mara asks her children which one of them will bring her his filthy tongue as a trophy. Soya tells his sister to buzz off as he swings his spike ball around and hurls it straight at our boy. Lavis dodges cleanly and shoves out of the way. Uni closes the distance in an instant, and our demon prince barely manages to parry her blade. She snaps at her twin to stay out of this fight, making Soya complain that he was just about to accidentally land a hit on her. Friendly fire is on. She orders her brother to watch her back as she continues her assault, chaining attacks one after another. While blocking her strikes, Lavis realizes they have absolutely no teamwork and decides to exploit that weakness. He taunts them, saying they will end up killing each other before ever reaching him. You two fight like a married couple. This enrages Soya, who starts yelling at his sister for nearly taking his head off. Lavis quickly figures out that the girl is cautious while the boy is full of himself, making them easy to destabilize. After their attacks are blocked again and again, the twins grow increasingly frustrated, and Lavis finally draws first blood by slicing into Uni. Even then, he remains mostly defensive, noting to himself that despite being hybrids, the two are absurdly strong. What did she feed them? Steroids and souls? Spotting an opening, Soya launches his spike ball once more, managing to graze Lavis across the gut. Hit, Uni immediately follows up, declaring she will take his head for sure as she rushes in again. She lands several cuts across his body, but quickly realizes he is deliberately dodging to protect his vital spots. He's tanking the non-lethal damage. Soya charges in again, warning Lavis not to die before he gets his turn to finish him. Our demon prince sidesteps only to be forced down to one knee as he blocks a lethal strike from Uni. She keeps screaming for him to die while pressing her blades down, but Lavis slips out at the last second and retreats several steps back. Realizing he cannot handle both of them head-on, he decides to provoke them further. Lavis shouts at Soya that his older sister is incredibly strong. Wow, your sister is carrying you. That instantly sets the purple-haired brat off, who screams that he was born first. I'm the older brother. Consumed by rage, the brat starts swinging his weapon like a madman and charges straight at him. The twins keep pushing him back while Uni yells at her brother for getting too close. He ignores her, shouting that he will be the one who gets to finish off Lavis. Watching this, our boy feels satisfied, seeing that Soya is now fighting purely out of anger. He's tilting the enemy. The moment the brat steps into his striking distance, he finally makes his move. Meanwhile, Street is locked in combat with Mara, hurling insults at the witch for turning into a greedy old hag. This enrages the witch, who increases the intensity of her attacks and manages to land a hit. Street tanks the blow, realizing that now is the moment for Sion to act. The nerd sprints toward Manhwa, who is surrounded by a barrier made of demonic energy. He presses his hands against the barrier and immediately screams in pain. The demonic barrier both burns and freezes him at the same time, frostburn damage, but he refuses to give up and keeps pushing forward. Sion yells at Manhwa to wake up, but there is no response. Street continues trading blows with Mara, doing everything she can to keep the witch's attention away from him. Suddenly the demonic energy explodes outward, sending Sion flying back. Boom! He stares at his badly damaged hands, clutching them in pain as the thought hits him that he is still just a powerless human. I'm useless. Just then, an image of the two siblings flashes through his mind, which makes him all fired up. He shouts that he will save Manhwa no matter what, and slams his fist into the barrier with everything he has. The power of friendship activated. At the same time, Mara lands a heavy blow on Street, which makes her scream in pain. The old hag taunts and tells the girl that playtime is over. Clutching her injured shoulder, Street wonders if this is the true power of someone who sits among the 12 dark thrones. Even in a rotting body, she's OP. Mara fires 2 projectiles, mocking Street for thinking she would be weak just because she was using a rotting body. The shards pierce Street's shoulders, pinning her to the wall. Thunk. The witch tells her to stay put and watch what happens to the twig, desperately trying to break the barrier. Street panics and screams at Sion to get away, but the green-haired boy realizes it too late as a sudden spray of blood bursts into the air. Sion crashed into the floor, with Mara's filth covering his body like venom. She could melt the nerd and squeeze some nutrients out of the guy like a juice box. Sion was completely stuck under the sentient filth. Mara lamented wasting too much time on useless things when the perfect vessel was free and open to enter before her. The Witch of Greed sang her disturbing prayer, calling the darkness to hear her demands and invoking the fulfillment of her oath. While the ritual proceeded, young Minya was being constantly hounded by the Dumb and Dumber demon twins. His scream blade and level of swordsmanship proved to be an impenetrable combo, but he was losing stamina. Thankfully, Han Soya and Han Uni actively refused to work together. They saw each other as competition instead. While Uni pulls ahead, Soya was mysteriously captured by a magical lasso. Yoink! He was dragged into the sidelines, constricted and gagged. His captor was none other than Ji-hei. For some reason she referred to Minho by his original name, Labes. She's fangirling. In the middle of all the chaos, the witch crawled over Minha's unconscious body to puke her filthy soul into a new vessel. Blarg. After being forced to take it all in, Minha opened her eyes, and her determined gaze was replaced by insanity. Possession complete. With the perfect vessel finally obtained, the senses of a fresh body hit different. New car smell. Mara vowed to enjoy such beauty forever. By the looks of it, their mission failed. Sion, Street, and Minho were unable to prevent the ritual. GG. To make matters worse, the Prince of Hell still has his hands full, trying to break free from the constant assault from Uni. Lurking behind the dark, Ji-hye intently watched Lavis's every move. She was love-struck by his new appearance. Oh no, he's hot. The demon who took over this body, Beltia, had to avert her gaze and focus on the tricky situation at hand. She was at a crossroads. If she steps in to help, Lavis will see her. Just imagining an interaction with him was enough to turn her into a shy mush. She's a simp. While his captor was busy with her delusions, Soya tried to catch his twin's attention for help. Uni sharply picked up on her twin's plight, but she's busy trying to contain Minho's onslaught. She could only curse that idiotic brother of hers while defending. Mara also took notice of her son's condition and easily freed him from the restrictions. Soya told his mother what happened. There's a rat in their midst. Aside from that annoying complication, Mara can't complain. The takeover was a massive success. When all hope was lost, Street asserted that there was still a chance to turn this around since Miss Minha's body hadn't completely disappeared yet. They're in the middle of a moonless night, a night when the boundary between human and demon realms blurs. Until morning comes, Mara's ritual cannot be completed in full. Minha's soul is still inside that body, fighting for control. Hearing this revelation, Minha suddenly reverted to her usual self and begged her brother for help. Oppa, help me! Minho almost fell for the trick. Mara was just messing with his head. She loves using her acting skills for evil. Psych. It's still me, Mara. But the Lord of Blood does not appreciate being mocked. The night is dragging along, so the witch commanded her children to kill everyone so they could wrap up. Untied and free to go crazy, Soya charged in with his old ball and chain. Still pissed off about his earlier fumble. More than the physical toll, the Lord's pride was more hurt due to being so weak and struggling against a couple of hybrids. In addition, the witch doesn't even acknowledge his presence. She was freely roaming the room. After the takeover, she is starving, and there are two scrumptious meals lined up before her. One is human, the other is a demonic beast. Before she could take her pick, a curious spherical gadget rolled down to her feet. Clink clink. The gadget opened like a pokeball, revealing a little Lavis figure inside and releasing a cloud of thick red gas into the air. Instinctively, Mara recoiled away from the mysterious red fog. Ew, what is that smell? Minho, on the other hand, recognized the gadget. The witch backed off a little, giving Beltia the opening to jump in and free Street from the painful skewers. After getting rid of the massive thorns, she granted Street a new upgrade, mechanical claws. Upgrade complete! Street recognized her savior by Ji-hye's face, but this woman's actions were baffling. Immediately, Beltia hopped in Sion's direction and got rid of the sentient filth holding him down. She gave the nerd a gun and told him to help Big Bro Minho. Here, take this Glock. Street was puzzled. They were just given modified weapons straight out of the demon realm. Sion was even more confused. 1 second, he was wriggling on the ground. The next, he was standing with a sci-fi gun in his hand. The gun shocked his body in an unnatural way. His head felt strange, and his heart pounded like crazy. He grew dizzy and had a hard time breathing. The recoil on this thing must be insane. Mara was caught off guard and was equally stumped. Street took advantage of the mess and closed the distance between her and the witch. Even at melee range, Mara mocked her for slipping on a toy in her hands while no one was looking. Mara's arrogance caused her to slip up and lose a hand. Slice. Those claws weren't toys after all. But if the problem was simple weaponry, the witch could simply devour the whole thing. Her severed hand sprouted filth tentacles that were impossible to cut through. It's apparent that Mara is starting to adapt to Minha's body. Dragging this out any longer will worsen the odds of rescuing the poor girl's soul. The witch wanted nothing more than to get a taste of fresh, demonic beast meat. Luckily, Street spotted the umbilical cord connecting Minha's body to Mara's dragon core. Since Minha is just an ordinary human, she can't possibly accept all of Mara at once. To defeat the biggest threat in the room, the magic circle must be busted wide open, and the umbilical cord must be severed. After being forced to tank a mysterious awakening, Sion's breathing stabilized. He grabbed onto the modified gun tightly and assessed his current situation. He also focused on the dragon core connected via the cord and the incomplete ritual. If he could just eliminate the magic circle, an opening should present itself. Surprisingly, the desire to do just that activated something in his subconscious. As if a switch was flipped inside his head, he was able to see the structure of magic circles. He gained the gamer UI. He immediately deduced that magic is just math and geometry. Every figure can be turned into an equation. Ultimately, any magic circle is nothing more than a mathematical structure. Sion took it upon himself to do some magic hacking, to dig for a weak point in the circle. The core was a cubic polynomial. The flow of mana was an S-shaped curve, and the key is hidden at an extremum. Sion was going big brain mode. It's just calculus. Street, on the other hand, was being overwhelmed by the tentacles of filth. Still, no matter what, she resolved to buy the boy as much time as possible and trusted that Sion would clutch up. A few moments later, the eigenvalues were found, and the weak point was successfully dug up. He aimed the gun right at the magic circle's local minimum and brought about its destruction by pulling the trigger. Math power. It wasn't your run-of-the-mill weapon. This handgun packed the punch of a magic laser. Combining the focused blast and perfect aim, the protective spell was effectively shattered. Kaboom! The explosion blew Mara away when she realized that the magic circle was breached. The witch looked absolutely livid. Sion was still reeling from all the number crunching. He did his job, and he did it well. It's up to his comrades to close this out. Mara was put in an awkward position. Her entire body hasn't finished the transfer yet. Street didn't waste a single second and jumped right on top of Han Youngju's rotten corpse. With her newfound sharpness, the demonic beast tore what's left of the demonic CEO apart. Mara didn't appreciate the interruption, so she swatted the nimble shape-shifting cat away. She ran towards her mangled original body, desperately trying to put the torn-up flesh back together. My old clothes. As she slowly stood up from her knockdown, Street recited a chilling tale of greed that ultimately ended in filth. Standing behind the witch, Lord Lavis held the hybrid demon twins as pathetic captives. He has them in a chokehold. It's time to burn the greed and filth together. Soya apologized to his mom, citing the red fog from earlier as the reason for their defeat. That red stuff in the air was a catalyst for change, courtesy of Beltia. She actually extracted that substance directly from the Lord of Blood's soulless physical body bound in the demon realm. Initially, she planned to keep it forever for personal use. She had a giant syringe full of that stuff. Then she heard about the special bloodstone embedded in her love's new body. She easily deduced that feeding Lavis some of his original blood should enable a quick recovery of some innate power. This is Beltia's gift. She just wanted to see Big Bro run wild like before. Speaking of the literal devil, Minho is starting to move like the OG Lavis Vindica without the nerfs. The restrictions are off, and someone is about to get absolutely destroyed. Mara curses her children for failing to handle just one guy. She is verbally abusing them like a toxic gamer on voice chat. Her words hurt worse than being strangled, cutting deeper than any blade. But ironically, this toxicity was also the most effective motivation to wind them up. It's like pouring gasoline on a dumpster fire. Han Soya and Han Yuni break free of the Lord's grip and resume their murderous attempts with renewed vigor. Soya's spike ball and chain danced aggressively through the air, looking for a skull to crack, while Yuni's dual blades slashed mercilessly, trying to turn Minho into sashimi. But let's be real here. The best of their efforts was absolutely futile in the face of true power. It's like watching two toddlers trying to fight Mike Tyson. Mara questioned why the prince of the demon realm would risk his life for a mere human. The girl Minyaha isn't even his real sister by blood. It doesn't make sense to her selfish demon brain. However, his reasoning was simple. He's going through all this trouble because of Minha's cake. Yes, you heard that right. He is risking eternal death for baked goods. His sister's cake was simply too delicious to let go. The cake Minha fed him did not taste as though it belonged to the human realm. It had a flavor found only in the heavenly realm, a taste of pure serotonin. For the uncultured swines like the twins, this man's reason didn't even make sense. He's a demon talking about the taste of the heavenly realm? That's like a shark talking about how good mountain climbing is. If the twins just gave each other cake from time to time instead of trauma, perhaps they would understand. But since they chose to continue hounding the Prince of Demons, their blood shall spill. They chose violence, so he chose ultraviolence. For every droplet of blood he tasted, Lavis grew more emboldened. He's getting buffs with every hit. You see, these twins weren't always rabid murder hobos. Little Han Yuni used to be a perfect student academically, a total honor roll kid. Little Han Soya was extremely diligent when it came to housework, basically a male Cinderella. No matter how hard they tried to be good kids, all they ever got from their mother Mara was insults and cruelty of all kinds. They lived their young lives desperate for mommy's praise and approval, starving for a single good job. One day, the family of three went out to a cafe. As usual, their mom saw a young pretty lady, and the bitter hag started berating her in secret because she's insecure and hates anyone younger than her. Little Yuni interpreted her mom's immature outburst as a, quote, problem to be solved. The kid ran towards the pretty lady and deliberately tripped, spilling the sticky drinks in her hand all over the woman's expensive white top. It was a calculated hit. Han Youngju played the part of a concerned and apologetic parent while pushing her daughter out of the scene to avoid suspicion. As soon as they were out of the cafe and away from prying eyes, the polite mask melted and Han Youngju's sinister smile surfaced. For the first time since she gave birth, the witch lavished Mara with compliments and praise while hugging the little girl tenderly. You ruined someone's day? I'm so proud of you. Seeing Yuni's awful actions get rewarded with sweet validation, Han Soya swore to take care of the next annoyance. He wanted in on that dopamine hit. Tormenting pretty people that mom doesn't like gave the twins a sense of purpose. If they hurt the people mom hates, they were showered with praise. This way, the witch brainwashed her own kids to be obedient little slaves. Anything mom says is of the highest importance. When mom says kill, the child must say yes, queen. By deleting problems in a bloody fashion, the poor twins were able to receive Mara's twisted version of love. It was a disturbing way to live, basically raising child soldiers for her own ego. But the demon prince respected Mara's long game. Game recognizes game. He's being forced to reckon with the product of such a cruel parenting method, and it was troublesome to deal with kids who have zero self-preservation instincts. Even now, the twins are still competing over who gets to kill the target for mommy's little reward. They are literally fighting each other to fight him. Brandishing his scream blade, the prince reveled at the oddities of magic and demons. In a single smooth movement that was smoother than butter on toast, he painted the floor with hybrid blood by chopping off one of Han Soya's arms. Slice. Mara took note of the change in Lavis's eyes. She has seen something similar to his unbridled confidence and power before. Right now, the prince is moving like his uncle, the progenitor of violence, Lord Barkin. He's got that family DNA kicking in. Missing one of his limbs, Han Soya rolled around the floor in agony, screaming like a banshee, while his sister cursed him out for being an idiot. "You lost an arm? Cringe!" Provoking the twins even further, Minyo implied that Han Soya must be the little brother, because he's so weak. Han Soya blamed his sister for screwing up and costing him an arm. "It's your fault I'm an amputee." While the twins bickered in the middle of an active war zone like siblings fighting over the TV remote, the man on the other corner loaded up an attack. If these two just continued their infighting, the prince would have an easier time cleaning up the trash. Surprisingly, Uni forcefully grabbed her bleeding brother from the floor. Was she going to save him? Nope. She used him as a meat shield to dampen Minyo's assault. She literally blocked the attack with her brother's body. Ruthless. Soya's injuries worsened to a fatal degree, bringing him down to his knees. Blood stained his body, and pain reverberated in every inch. As Han Soya slowly succumbed to his wounds, bleeding out on the cold floor, he uttered one word: Mom. The mom he spent his last bit of energy calling was standing on the sidelines and berating him for being so useless. "Die quietly, you're embarrassing me." She commanded her remaining child to forget about the useless brother and focus on the enemy ahead. "He's dead weight, leave him." Uni obeyed without question, while Han Soya's fear of being abandoned turned to reality. He died realizing he was nothing but a tool. That is some top-tier tragic villain backstory right there. The witch continued being a nuisance with her tentacles of filth, trying to intervene. But without the interference of the twins double-teaming him, carving a path towards the witch had become a lot easier. It's a straight shot to the boss now. Mara is almost done with her takeover of Minha's body. If Minyo wastes any more time, he could kiss Minha and her delicious cakes goodbye forever. The stakes have never been higher, mostly for the cake. The prince doesn't know the current limits of his human body yet. To be as quick as possible, he's gonna take some gnarly risks. He pulled out of Mara's way and dragged Uni with him. Minyo caught her by the waist and locked her down with force. The Lord of Blood showed his true colors. He vigorously pulled Uni's head up to expose her bleeding neck. As hungry as a beast, he bit into that juicy artery and sucked the hybrid blood like sweet nectar. He went full vampire mode. He continued sucking spiritedly, draining her mana and life force, while maintaining unblinking eye contact with his victim's mom. That is the ultimate power move. He is drinking her daughter right in front of her. Even the witch, who literally has bug organs, was weirded out. Okay, that's nasty. After getting his fill and refueling his tank, Minyo dropped the husk of his victim like garbage. Thud. This is the method he devised to absorb as much blood as possible to test his body's limit. Uni charged him up with a decent bit of power. He's fully buffed now, amplifying all that juice in one burst of supreme speed and martial prowess. He charged forth like a bullet train. Unsettled by the prince's abnormal strength, Mara augmented her tentacles for more defense. She's turtling up. It was utterly useless. Minyo sliced and diced through the slimy obstacles like a butcher cutting through Wagyu beef. All Mara wanted was a fresh body to look pretty. She never meant to tangle with a real demon who treats violence as a hobby. Despite his menacing appearance, Minyo's body is actually on the brink of shattering. Every move he made felt like being torn apart alive. His muscles are tearing. Bones are creaking. Regardless of the pain, he loved the chaos and the killing. He is a battle junkie. After overwhelming the witch with sheer force and lunacy, he was poised to strike at breakneck speed with killer precision. Mara has been preparing for this night for years. All of her efforts are going down the drain, mainly due to one man who really likes cake. That man made her kiss the ground by force, putting the witch in checkmate. At any moment he could break her neck, but he couldn't. Why? Because Mara is still using his sister's body. It's a hostage situation. At least all of her foul-smelling lifelines have been severed already. Minyo laid down a deal. He paused the execution for a negotiation. If Mara agrees to come out of Minha's body voluntarily, Minyo promised to spare her wretched life. To convince her that he wasn't bullshitting, Minyo swore upon the name and honor of his father, the great Demon King Gamware, that his words were truthful. "I swear on my daddy's life." The witch figured that this boy must be wary of her capability to self-destruct and take the sister with her. Losing the perfect host is a pity, but Mara could always find another vessel as long as she comes out of this alive. Survival first, beauty second. Surely the blood of the Demon King wouldn't lie and besmirch the honorable royal name, right? Demons take oaths seriously. So she dared him to drop the sword, and then they could agree on a deal. The scream blade disintegrated, melting back into his body. He dropped his weapon. He lived up to the end of the bargain. It's Mara's turn to live up to hers and leave. She held her throat, feeling uncomfortable movements from inside. As soon as that mischievous grin surfaced, the witch tried to catch the demon prince with his pants down by bolting out of the vessel like a bullet. She tried to speed blitz her escape. Minho laughed at such a foolish attempt. You thought! He had already expected something like this, and prepared his demonic hand to respond to any sudden movements. The demonic arm made it impossible for the witch to slip out in her filthy original form. He caught her soul midair. For someone who used to sit in one of the 12 dark thrones, Mara fell for such a simple trick. Honestly, Minho had no idea how to get the witch out of his sister's body safely. He was just bluffing all along. He gambled and won. He even swore upon his family and his father's honor. The thing is, Lavis doesn't care about his bloodkin. He hates his dad. He only needs to protect his own honor. Swearing on his dad is like swearing on a piece of trash to him. While in her unsightly partial form, looking like a blob of sludge, the witch felt real dread for the first time in a while. She even resorted to desperate pleading. Wait, we had a deal, but Minho continued yanking her out until Manhwa was cleansed of the filth. It was like pulling a tick off a dog. Surrounded by the flower farm of corpses, he held the Witch of Greed's life in his hand. Mara tried to bargain, promising to do whatever his heart desires in exchange for mercy. I'll give you money, power, anything. At that point, she was truly willing to do whatever it takes to cling to her pathetic existence. Behind Minho, Uni wobbly stood up, having miraculously survived the bite. The hope and brutality sparked in Mara's eyes as she beckoned her little girl to kill Minho from behind. Do it now, sweetie. Uni mustered every bit of strength left in her body, preparing to stab him in the back. But she was stopped short by a fitting intervention. Han Soya, the brother who was left for dead, slipped back to life for a few more seconds. He got up, not to save his mom, but to take his twin to hell with him. He tackled her. He'd rather have a draw than let her take all the credit again. He will only feel okay dying if Uni follows suit. If I'm dying, you're coming with me. Ultimately, the twins were born together. They lived life together, suffered together, and now they died together in a pile of resentment. Witnessing the consequences of being a bad mother had Mara cursing her head off in rage. You useless kids! Minho was appalled by this dysfunctional demon family. And I thought my family had issues, he thinks. With her last card out of play, Mara continued her begging strategy. She switched tactics to gaslighting. She swore to never touch Manhwa ever again. She even swore that Lavis's mom, Queen Anais, was like a sister to her once. We were besties. We went to brunch. If he doesn't believe it, he could ask his mom to verify. She swore that the Demon Queen used to follow her around while calling her big sister. Street listened to her pathetic speech and was disgusted by her selfishness. Her twins just died 5 seconds ago, and she's trying to talk herself out of an execution by name-dropping celebrities. She is truly the mother of the year. Tired of her constant yapping, Minho summoned the screen blade in fluid motion. Xing. He swung it without hesitation, deleting the Witch of Greed from existence. She was, and always will be, a shame to the reputation of the 12 Dark Thrones. Of all people, she never would have thought that Anais' child would be the end of her in such a humiliating fashion, no less. Crushed by a high schooler. Until the last moment, she refused to be deleted, stubbornly holding on for dear life in such a disgusting form. So the Lord of Blood stomped her face out until it turned to filthy mush under his designer shoes. Splat! After liquefying a former big boss in the demon realm, Minho received an ample amount of demonic energy straight into his special bloodstone. It was a massive XP drop. Once he was able to get a grasp of his harvest, the prince was pleasantly delighted. Delicious power. He sighed in relief. The witch is dead, and the problem was thoroughly dealt with. As expected of someone at Mara's level, the power he gained from one kill was overwhelming. He leveled up multiple times instantly. Unfortunately, demons in this realm cannot help but expose such a vulgar and filthy stench that the prince cannot tolerate. He needs a shower immediately. Looking at the dead twins, Street couldn't help but feel awful for them. If Mara hadn't crossed over to the human realm, they could have probably lived a happy life with their real mother. They were victims of circumstances. They'll never know for sure. In this world, even without demon parents, a child could be in danger because of a parent's greed. With the enemies taken down, Beltia stayed for a few moments to steal some glances at the love of her life. She is blushing hard. Minho already knew where she was hiding and what she was doing. He's not blind. When she was called out, she pretended not to hear his orders to come out. She tried to play dumb. As soon as he referred to her real name, Beltia, Street recognized that their savior was the demon realm's legendary weaponsmith. Beltia was the youngest daughter of the Murtano family. She received all the love and favor for being born as a weapon-forging god, a genius born once in 3,000 years. With all her prestige back home, she actually dared to follow Lavis to the human realm like a superstalker. She insisted that she was just following Rambe's orders, and she'll be leaving right away now that the surprise is over. It's not like I like you or anything, Babaka. Beltia was infamous for her recklessness and arrogance. She was also notorious for being Lavis's hardcore stalker. That Rambe bastard must have intervened and put Beltia's soul into Jihei's body to help Lavis out. With all these external variances being added out of his control, Lavis's life in the human realm is bound to get crazier. He went from fighting bullies to killing demon lords in a week. High school is rough, man.